Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to BRAP. It's Wednesday, September 24th. Oh, wow. I can't believe it's already the end of November. Holy shit. This month has flown by. That means, though, next week, Ghost of Tsushima, or Ghost of Yote, I should say. But want to welcome everyone in the live chat to the show. Thank you so much. Do me a quick favor. If you could be so kind as to retweet the link or share it on your favorite social media platform, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you hang out in the social medias, please share the link. Let me know we're live. But do have some returning guests, and should be a great show, great conversation. We got a lot to talk about tonight. A lot of big event that kicks off tomorrow. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about state of play, and we'll discuss a particular retailer dumping Xbox.
You didn't tell me that was part of the show.
And then we'll talk about Ampere Analysts, who I've talked about. Ampere Analysts, they're an analytical. Well, I can't even talk. They're a analysis firm. They do analysis on the gaming industry and other industries as well. They had an interesting analysis or insights into where people are playing games and which console platform people are playing more games on. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit as well. But first, I want to introduce the panel here. Do have a returning guest. It's been a long time. Been trying to get this gentleman on for about a month and a half. Happy he's here. He was able to join us tonight. Want to welcome Doc.
Sir.
Welcome back to BRAP, sir. And hey, welcome to the PC. Well, I can't say the other part because it's not politically correct, but welcome to the PC family, by the way.
That's right. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for, like I said, in the green room, not giving up on me. BRAP has been trying to get me on for like the past month and a half, and I've been just busy. One of the times I flaked, the other times I tried, I couldn't. So but BRAP's a good dude. He never gave up on me, and I'm glad that we were able to make it happen. And it just so happened, man, that it fell on a state of disappointment day. I mean, the state of play day. I mean, hey, you know what you got me here for? We're gonna do it, baby.
State of disappointment. All right.
Hey, chat, you better start hitting that like and share. You know what we're about to do. We're about to bring everybody back down to reality. But no, I'm really glad that I'm here, BRAP. And PC gaming has been a game changer for me, for sure. Unfortunately, had to leave the Xbox Series X behind, but you know, it is what it is.
You're not the only one.
Oh man. So, look, it's crazy out there, man. It's
you're not the only one. Retailers are leaving. I left.
We talking about retailers, man. Only one retailer, man, and they got a good reason why they left. I don't know why they left. That's crazy.
Well, I think we'll talk about that in just a second. No, but Doc, it's so honestly, it's awesome to see you on PC enjoying it, because we talked about it before we went live. You were sharing your PC gaming experience with me, and it's just and now your son's playing on PC, which is even like that's really awesome. My kids play on PC too. They love it. But that's awesome. Awesome.
So I'm gonna share something with you, but you can't share with anybody else. Okay. So mute this part of the show. Okay. Right. We in this household, the only things that are used, the main things that are used to game are the PlayStation and the PC, because my kids are still huge PlayStation fans. Because their friends are on it, their community's on it, their cousins are on it, all that stuff. But so unfortunately, the Xboxes aren't really being used. And we have two. We have an Xbox Series X and an Xbox Series S. Every once in a while, I'll catch my son playing like Paw World or something, because it's on Game Pass. We still got Game Pass Ultimate. But for the most part, it's that feisty PlayStation still getting used. But it's for third party games. It's not for nobody. No playing, no single. PlayStation got no games. # no games. So it is what it is.
Wait, so
until next month.
Wait, do your kids play any of the? Have they played any of the first party games?
Yeah. So my both my kids they liked Astrobot, even though I can't stand Astrobot. So they both liked Astrobot. Let me see. Juju, did you platinum Astrobot? Yeah. So my youngest one, my 10-year-old, actually platinumed it. So
What? He's look at that.
yeah, I know. Disappointing. He's got more platinums than I have because I got 0 platinum.
Oh, we got to talk.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not collecting book bags and Spider-Man. I'm not doing
Come
it.
on.
I refuse to do it. I refuse to do
How
it.
many platinum trophies does your son have?
Juju, how many platinums do you have? Do you know? He's got. He said he has 2. What is it? Are they both Astrobots or Spider-Man? Yeah, so he got one in Spider-Man and the other one's Astrobot.
Ask him at school. Ask him at school if his friends prefer PlayStation or Xbox.
Oh my God. That's not come on. What are you doing? Of course.
I'm just
let me see.
Yeah.
Hey, Juju. Remember, he's 10, so this is gonna be interesting. At your school, do people prefer PlayStation or Xbox? Or do you guys talk about that at school at all? Yeah, he said no, they don't really talk about it at school, so he doesn't even know.
Okay.
What do you guys talk about when it comes to game? Do you guys talk about gaming at all? Roblox. There you go. Hey, Roblox. There it is.
So ask him, does he see himself playing Roblox when he's your age?
Oh, that's a good question. Juju, do you think you'll still be playing Roblox when you're my age? When you're 40? No? He said, I hope not. So if you got a 40-year-old man out there playing Roblox, get off of it, dog. Tell him.
He said, I hope not.
Yeah, when 40 years old. I'm not gonna lie, that is a little crazy. But I play with you, Juju. I do play with him. Like if he wants me to play Roblox, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, that's different though. Yeah.
I wouldn't turn on Roblox on my own volition. You know what I'm saying? Not that there's anything wrong in case of somebody in the chat.
There might be someone in the chat that plays Roblox at age 40. Now, and look, it is, and that's okay. Like if that's your thing, there's nothing wrong with that.
Is it okay?
Look, I'm not here to judge. That's not. Huh? I'm not here to judge.
Yeah. Oh, Juju said, "What if you're a Roblox YouTuber?" Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair.
That probably would be lucrative, huh?
Ask him if has he seen like all the PlayStation first party games? Like, does he know like Ghost of Tsushima? Does he Death Stranding 2? My son just started. 11-year-old was playing Death Stranding 2 the other day, and he was like, "This looks incredible."
Yeah, he's definitely seen it because he's seen me. He saw me play Death Stranding, the first one on PC. Juju, did you play Ghost of Tsushima? You play a little bit of it. Why didn't you finish it? You didn't like it? Oh, he said it was too hard for him. Yeah, remember he's still 10. So and the things he plays, if it's anything of a crazy challenge, he's not playing it. Like he stopped playing Expedition 33, even though he watched me do it.
I mean, I don't blame him though. That's that. Yeah. I could see that being difficult for a 10-year-old. Yeah. But I asked a question about Roblox and if he's going to play that as an adult, because I've literally had this conversation where people are telling me that kids only care about Roblox and Minecraft, so therefore those are going to be the types of games that they play when they get older. I'm like, what? So
no, it's probably gonna change. It has to change. I mean, you gotta think about us. We're not playing the same things we used to play. Are you still playing Super Mario 3?
No.
Right,
no,
we're not playing Super Mario World 3. You know, so
I mean, I'm not. I mean, look, I'll certainly. Okay, look, I will play Mario games, Nintendo games, but it's kind of more of a, it's not my preference, right? It's not where I'm spending most of my time.
Yeah,
like Marsh said, kids grow up. Real quick, I'm sorry, I want to address somebody here in the live chat. I need to give them Donnell Brown, $5 super chat. Thank you. Donnell says, okay, I'm here to hear it. We suck. Y'all the better team. Y'all beat us without your star QB. Yes, exactly, Donnell. We smoked the Raiders. We smoked the Raiders with our backup QB. With our backup QB, we beat you guys.
I don't know if that's hard to do.
That's a good point. And that voice that you just heard, by the way, it's not Mooch. It's not Mooch. It's Mag. It's Mag.
I'm here.
Mag, welcome back to the show.
I'm here. Yes. Well, thank you for having me on the show. Actually, you've been trying to get me on the show for a long time too, but every time you call me, I'm always busy. I always got something going on. But either way, I'm here. We had a hell of a day, great day for gamers, and a great week for gamers. I got to say, like between the State of Play and you got the Tokyo Game Show going on. There's going to be some announcements. There was already some announcements at that show, and then plus they got some more coming up. So it's a great week for gamers on all ends, man. So it's fantastic, and if you're a gamer like me, it's just great news altogether. So it's wonderful. Anyway, let's get into the show, man. We got some things to talk about.
Absolutely.
Hey, we gotta ask Mag, will he play Roblox at 40?
I don't play Roblox now. I'm already 50, by the way. And listen, my son plays it all the time. My daughter plays it all the time. Whenever they get together with their friends, they're always farting around on it because then they move from their consoles and then they start playing it on their tablets. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. That game
it was the smartest thing that they ever done because they made it so accessible that anybody can carry it with you wherever. So when we go, like on the weekends, we get together with our neighbors. We have the street family, we call them, right? And we get together with them. All the adults, we're all doing adult stuff. And then the kids are all just in one room with all their tablets and phones, and they're all just playing Roblox together. And man, if they want to get people hooked, that's how you do it with accessibility, right? You just be able to drop the controller and then go straight to your tablet and like not even skip a beat. And the smartest thing that they could have done, and also the worst thing they could have done as a parent. Let me tell you something. Watch out for those charges. That's all I got to say, because I got burned. My son didn't realize he was buying packages like those Robux, and he didn't realize he was like just clicking, and they make it very predatory. Where he didn't even you don't even really realize that it doesn't even give you like those like those warnings like, are you sure you want to spend this $5? They just do it, right? And then all of a sudden you get the credit card and they're like, why are there 11? So you know what I had to do? I actually had to cancel my credit card off of my son's PlayStation. And then we noticed some other weird charges for that nobody did and that nobody actually charged in the house. And we had physical proof of it. So we think that someone hacked us inside Roblox as well. And so what we did is I just got my new credit card today. I had to cancel it a week ago, 8 days ago. And like I said, if you got kids playing Roblox, be careful out there. Not only, like I said, do not attach any cards to it or anything else like that.
Yeah.
Buy them gift cards for birthdays and Christmas and Hanukkah or whatever the fuck.
I was about to say that's usually what we do. That's usually we'll buy Roblox like at the store, the gift card.
Yeah, you can buy Robux at like the gas station now. Like, you know what I mean? Like you do that. Stay away from the credit cards and all that jazz. But either way, they're making billions. We're not. So let's talk.
That's good.
Yeah, no, I made sure that I put all the parental controls in Roblox, and because there's also there's weirdos out there too, and
that's true too. Yep.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about that for a while there. There was talk about these the predators online and stuff like that, and they were found in Roblox and whatever else. I mean, that makes sense, right? Because it's basically the 2025 it's the 2025 version of a creep hanging around the playground, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a digital playground, so it's perfect for these predators.
Mag, remember you weren't supposed to have your name on your T-shirt back in the days.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. You know what I mean? So this is the digital playground for these creeps.
And now with AI, they could disguise their voice as kids and stuff too. It's wild.
Yeah.
But my son, lucky enough, he's got enough, cousins and friends that when he's typically playing, he's playing with his cousins and his friends.
My son only plays with my daughter.
Yeah,
and his group of friends that are all on PlayStation, whatever.
Yeah,
and of course the neighbors' kids and stuff, right? So they don't play with strangers. Yo, El Nini, what's up?
Yeah, this is for you, Mac. Bill's Mafia. There you go.
El Nini is a maggot, so he's part of the maggot army over on my channel. So El Nini's a huge supporter of the channel. So yeah, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, El Nini's a real one. He was just on my live stream. I appreciate you, El Nini. Yeah, it was good.
What do you mean he was on your live stream? El Nini, are you cheating on me?
He's just on my live stream right now, leaving all types of comments and stuff. Real expensive super chats. He was dropping like $100 super chats. What?
I need my soundboard here. Vince McMahon screaming, "You're fired." Where is it? No, I don't.
You're fired.
Yeah. Anyways,
that's fine. Yeah. Well, El Nini, welcome to BRAP. Thank you for following Doc and Mag here. Last but not least, we do have Randy Pitchford with us this evening, also known as Game Logic. Now that tuxedo, man, that kills me. What's going on, Logic?
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm glad you have joined me here on the round table for tonight. We got some things to get into, I think.
Yes, we do.
What up, brother? What up?
What's going on, Doc? Hey, Doc. Hey, Doc. I hate to segue, again, but I did want to specifically ask. I wasn't here for the pre-show, but I want to make sure I have what I think is in my head as the story straight.
Go ahead,
So you went off right down this PC path, kind of as like a science experiment, right? You were like, hey, people say this thing is the thing, so I'm gonna actually like do the thing, right, to go experience it.
So it actually stemmed from Hellblade 2. I was sick and tired of the excuse as to why Xbox was dropping games at 30 frames per second. I was upset with Redfall, but then Redfall was trash. I let it slide. I was upset with Starfield, but people told me that it was okay because you could save sandwiches on different planets. And then, no, it's not funny. It's the truth. It's not funny. That's what they told me.
Hey, when you said
you're gonna act like I don't remember that?
I remember when you said that, I had that Denzel Washington meme playing in my head. My man.
yeah.
Trading game, my man.
And then when it came with Hellblade 2, what really upset me, like, yeah, I get the graphics were beautiful and everything, but I was like, but they gotta make it run on the Series S. So why don't you just give us the option for whatever graphics are going to be running on the Series S, and then let the Series X players play it at whatever that fidelity is at higher resolution. And I was getting told that it couldn't be done. It couldn't be done. Now, Logic, I know you know more about PC than I do. Around this time, I had bought an Asus ROG Ally, the Z1 Extreme version. Okay, the very first one, not even the X, the Asus ROG Ally, but the Z1 Extreme version. Okay, I remember playing Starfield on that, right, at above 30 FPS. Okay, and the screen had a VRR screen as well, right? So I was getting like maybe like 45 frames and everything. And I'm thinking like, why can't they just do this? And there's no way, as I'm looking physically like at my Asus ROG Ally, it's a small piece of machinery. It only has a 30 TDP power that can connect to it, right? There's no way this thing is more powerful than my Xbox Series X. It's impossible. I don't care what anybody tells me. It's impossible, right? But then people are explaining, well, it's a console, so the developers, okay, so if it's the developers' fault, my whole thing was, well, these are Xbox developers, right? They own Bethesda, right? So why would they not make them unlock it? And then once Hellblade came out at 30, that was the last straw for me. I was like, nope, I'm gonna go ahead and play it at 60. So I'm gonna go ahead and get myself a PC. And then the Xbox fan base attacked me, Logic. They were like, you don't need to play that game at 60. That game is a single player story driven game. You could play it at 30. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. I was just really upset. So I went ahead with the PC route, and I played the game at 60 FPS, and then I haven't looked back ever since. I was actually just admitting to BRAP, like, yeah, if you look at my gamer score on Xbox, you'll still see that I got a gamer score, and I'm still playing games on Xbox, but it's all on PC. So that's really what happened.
So you and I'm not trying to I'm trying to rebuild the timeline. So nothing I'm saying is trying to like set you up for an ambush or anything, but you went in like low, right? You how do I want to say it?
I went real low, Game Logic. I bought a pre-built PC from Walmart.
Okay.
I went to Walmart, spent $800. I got I know exactly what I got. I got a Ryzen 5 7600 as my CPU.
It performed like the PS5 Pro. That's what I want to know.
Say again?
At $800. Did it perform like the PS5 Pro at $800?
It was before the PS5 Pro, but no, I would. So here's the thing. I would not advise somebody to try to build a PC for $800 to compete with a PS5 Pro. I wouldn't. Now I don't know as much as PC as some other people. Some other people swear that you could do it if you go behind a dumpster at Costco and find a GPU for $35. Yeah, some people swear they could do it, but I'm telling you right now,
if you pray over it and cast some voodoo spells and boil blood in a pot for 3 hours, then you'll get 65 frames per second on an $800 potato.
I wouldn't recommend it. And then we got to look at it realistically. Like, do you really think you're going to get a better deal on PC parts than Sony? Like, right. Do you really think you're going to get a better deal than the company that's buying these chips and all this stuff at bulk? So it's a little, I don't know.
It's disingenuous. So Doc, you went in low. You discovered that was not going to do the thing that you needed, right?
No, not necessarily. So I'll tell you exactly what happened. So I got a Ryzen 5 7600 as my CPU, and then my GPU was the RX 7600. Okay. Now, this is my mistake. Again, brand new, right? First mistake was it's an 8 GB VRAM card. Okay. which I would not recommend. That's probably the worst mistake I did was get an 8 GB VRAM card. So even if you got the 7600 XT, which I think that was a 12, that's still better. But what I also did was I paired this PC with my living room TV, which is a 4K TV. And in the PC world, the screen that you use really does matter. So you know how people ask you, well, what resolution do you want to game on? I didn't know what that meant, gaming logic. I didn't know, right? But now I do know. So that same Walmart PC right now, my son is using it. And I was actually telling BRAP, he's playing on a 1080p monitor, right? So he's got a 1080p monitor that's 24 inches, right? He sits pretty close, but the PC is doing phenomenal because it's great for that. That's what it's meant for. It's a 1080p machine, right? Now, what happened was, I was telling BRAP this as well, is one of my channel members saw all the people that were talking trash about my PC. You got a Walmart PC, all this other stuff. Even though my PC was doing fine, the worst thing that I did was I tried to play Forza Motorsport at 4K. Not AMD FSR, nothing. Like, I try to put it at 4K and actually run it on that card. And PC is gonna try to run it until it can't. So the game would crash, the game would turn off on me. So I had to drop the resolution to 1440p. Change some settings, especially like shadows. You already know how some settings are heavier than others. So I had to change some settings like shadows and stuff. And then eventually I was able to run the game, and it still looked better than how it looked on my Xbox Series X, I'll be honest with you. So I was perfectly happy with my Walmart PC. Like, I kept making videos about my Walmart PC. I was happy. But it was a channel member that got upset at all the comments talking about PC, all this other stuff, that reached out to me and said, hey, Doc, I'm going to gift you a PC so everybody could shut their mouth. And he gifted me a PC with a Ryzen 7 7700 and a RX 9070 XT in it. And this thing is a monster. So now nobody really makes fun of, me gaming on PC anymore, because they can't. But in reality, that Walmart PC was perfectly fine. In between that, I also bought a gaming laptop. I bought a Zephyrus M16 that has an i9, and it's got a mobile 4070 in it. Now, it's a mobile 4070, so it's obviously not the same, right? But it's still this laptop as well. I'm actually using a laptop right now for the podcast. This laptop, everything I throw at it runs perfectly fine. So you don't need a crazy expensive PC or anything like that to game well. But if you have a crazy expensive PC, the experience is just it's unmatched. So
I appreciate. Look, I know you and I have not always seen eye to eye. But I'm going to tell you right now, live on podcast, much respect.
Thank you.
This is what you have done is very similar. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back for like you doing things like I've done. I believe if you're going to talk and you're going to speak, you need to have experience, which means you need to walk the path. You can't be out here like browsing web pages and pulling charts and then asserting that you know something. Right.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like, benchmarks can be benchmarks, but until you live the experience, right?
Yep.
You don't know. Like, when people say, and look, we're not going to, now that you are a PC dude, we're not going to get the AMD versus NVIDIA tonight. But when people say, look, AMD GPUs are fine and I don't ever have problems with drivers, but you've never used an AMD GPU, or you've used one and you don't get that, like, the 6 extra things that you do, the NVIDIA guys don't do that at all. And that when people say, hey, the AMD GPUs are different, right? And they require like a little more effort and like that, then that's the experience, right? Like, you have to live that, you have to walk it, you have to know it. And so I have the utmost of respect for what you've done and how you're now able to speak on it, because I see a lot of frauds out there who have never built a gaming PC, have only built a gaming PC under supervision, have bought a pre-built, and they're running around out here saying, like, doing the PC parts picker warrior thing, saying, oh, well, all you have to do is this. And at the time, they're recommending like a power supply that like no PC gamer in their right mind would ever recommend somebody to buy, immediately outing themselves as a fraud.
Right. So that's the funny thing too, is that you PC guys can pick out other people that don't really know about it. So I come out saying like, hey, I don't know this time. I'm just letting you know what my experience is, right now, what I'm experiencing. And one of the things that gets me in trouble, Logic, is that sometimes I'm too honest. So the reason people found out that Forza Motorsport was crashing on me on my Walmart PC was because I made a video about it. But if I would have never told anybody anything, right? If I would have pretended like everything was fine, No one would have ever known. You know what I mean? But that's what the same thing that got me flagged. So the same thing I always tell people, like, I don't care what anybody tells me. Like, updating stuff on a PC is not as easy as updating stuff on a console. Like, I don't understand. And sometimes it's because like PC gamers have been gaming on PC for so long that for them what becomes like second nature. They forget that somebody coming from console is like, hey,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? Like, I'll give you a great example. Sometimes I have no reason why, I have no idea why. Maybe you could tell me. I'll launch a game and it'll launch in window mode instead of full screen. Even though last time I played it, I was on full screen.
It drives you nuts. And
I have no idea why. You know, that never happened to me in console. You know what I'm saying?
All you're supposed to have to do is to get your mouse focus right within that window and hit Alt-Enter, and that should fix it. Now I do that. Now I do that all the time, and yeah, absolutely. So it's relative, right? To me, that's not a thing, but to somebody else, it's a thing. But when I speak to people, I say, like, it's a good example. I'll say, look, PC gamers will do that, and they'll be like, it's not a big deal. But a console gamer will do that, and they'll be like, what is this?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Now the other problem with PC is that then where you do get frustrated, even if you, like me, and you've been building PCs for 30 years, you get frustrated when you do that and it doesn't work. You're like, hold on, this is supposed to be the fix. This works 92% of the time. Now, when it's the 8% of the time that it doesn't work, now you're in la la land, right?
Right.
But I really appreciate what you've done. And it sounds like, and I haven't like kept up with all your kind of, but I love the fact that you're streaming it, that you're putting it live, that you're letting people know like this is the real thing. And so like you can do this if you so choose, but it has consequences. It has stuff that goes along with it. And if you can live with that, that's great. You're going to have a great experience. You're going to, put yourself in a lane that everybody else isn't in. And there's things you're going to get out of that, but there's some negatives that go along with it. Well,
you said that perfectly.
And I appreciate that you're not, out here, trying to fly the Game of Thrones banner, right, and tell people, just go build an $800 PC because it's easier and it performs the same as equally expensive console.
Hey, that whole build a PC thing is crazy too. You know how many people told me, I was like, building a PC is like putting a Lego set together. Let me tell you, I cleaned this PC and accidentally disconnected the fans without even knowing it, and I was running the thing for a whole month with only the GPU fans running.
God.
Listen to me. You understand what I'm saying? Because so I gotta tell you this. Hold on, let me tell you this. So the person that built me this PC, like obviously he knew what he was doing, right? So it's a small form factor PC, so it's like a mini form factor PC, whatever. And it's got they're called I think they're called nocturnal fans. So they're like really quiet. They're like
those are great. Those are like the market leading fans, Nocturna.
Yes. Okay, exactly. So you see, Game Logic even knows the damn brand, right? So they're quiet. My Walmart PC, like I used to hear that bad boy run depending on what I was playing, right? So I would like turn up the volume on the TV or whatever. I would play with a headset on. It was perfectly fine. This PC is like quiet all the time. So when the fans are even running, like
I'm sorry, Doc, just real quick, just not Nocturna, Noctua.
Noctua, there you go. Yeah, Noctua, yeah. So I'm sitting on the couch and I cleaned it, whatever. I even made a video of like, cleaning it, and it wasn't even bad or anything. And I cleaned it, put the case back, whatever. And when I was dusting inside of it, I knocked the frontal fan cables loose. And the PC, just another thing that I think consoles do this too, but like when PCs overheat, like to protect themselves, they'll shut off, right? Is that correct? They're like, if they overheat, they'll like go ahead and shut off or whatever. So it was turning off on me, and I was like, wait a minute, this PC's never done this before. So I went back, opened it, really looked, and then that's where I saw like, oh my God, I had disconnected the fans. So I had to reconnect the fans and everything, and then finally it was, it was fine, it was working. But to me, I'm like, damn, I ran this thing for a month with only the CPU cooler was running, and you know how the GPU also has the fans on it as well, but the actual case fans weren't running. But yeah, nothing else like messed up on it, and the PC is perfectly fine now. But yeah, it was crazy. I hit up the guy that built the PC, and I was like, "Hey man, this thing's turning off for me. I don't know what's going on." And then he's like, told me to open it. I went through, and I was like, "Oh, never mind. I feel stupid. I found out what I did." But guess what? That's never happened on a console.
Right.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So wrap up. Sorry, I didn't mean to take up as much, but I did want to get the story straight. Hey, look, kids, people out in the audience. The moral of the story is like, just stop. Like, just be happy on your platform. Whatever platform you pick, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. If you're a Nintendo dude, be happy with Nintendo. If you're a PC dude, be happy with PC. Xbox, PlayStation. Stop all this nonsense. Stop all this foolishness of like you're on a platform and you've just got to fabricate fan fiction, right? Do world building like George R.R. Martin and can try and convince everyone that your platform is somehow better than everyone else's. Like just make up crazy stuff that isn't true, right? About what it's like on your platform that people who actually are on your platform know is not true and will call you out about it. Just stop. Like, I don't get it.
Yep. It's true.
Yeah.
My last swag for it's not my last slander, but I'm gonna say my last swag for this segment is Danny Pena talking about, hey, I'll be glad when we can start when games are on every platform, so we can start talking about games and stop talking about consoles. You can start talking about games now. You don't have to talk about consoles. You don't have to be platform centric. You don't have to constantly every week be yipping and yapping about like why this platform is better and why that platform is better. You can talk about the games now. There's nothing preventing you, right? And content creators are supposed to be leaders of discussions. Right, like in old Greek times, right? You're supposed to be the dudes in the middle of the amphitheater, right?
Socrates.
Like lead the discussion, right? You want it to be about games, make it about games. The only reason it's about consoles is because so many of you guys are making shit up about consoles that aren't true.
Yeah, because you don't have to engage in the platform wars if you don't want to. The console wars are pretty much done, but you don't have to engage in the platform wars. That's why when people come to my channel and be like, "Oh, why are you always talking about this?" It's like, man, there's so many other channels that you can watch. So for me, I won't say let's just talk about games because I enjoy talking about PlayStation and Xbox and all this stuff. So to me, it's fun banter. You know what I mean? So I enjoy it. So I don't think like I'm high or above. Be like, well, let's stop talking about this. I'm like, nah, let's go ahead. Let's talk about Xbox and PlayStation and all that other stuff. But the main message is Logic. You are correct. It really doesn't matter if you're having fun on PlayStation. You're gonna have fun on PlayStation. If you're having fun on Xbox, you're having fun on Xbox. I'm gonna be biased and say that PC now is better, but I can still be honest and tell you that it does have its problem. It's not a perfect, system or whatever. And when GTA 6 comes out, I got to make a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
really like me and probably have to go back.
Exactly. Yeah,
you have to go back to PlayStation.
Yeah, or Xbox.
Yeah.
Hold on now.
Yeah.
And that wasn't to say that like nobody should talk about consoles. About what I'm saying is like this narrative that's out there that like, you guys talk about consoles and never talk about games, and like games need to be on every platform, and then we can just talk about games. Like that's nonsense. Like that's a choice that you're making. The other thing I keep saying it's my last time. The other thing I wanted to point out is the narrative that PlayStation dudes just talk about game sales, right? And that's new, and that's a thing that's not new. I was actually going back through my memories today, and I had forgot like. Nintendo, back when it was Nintendo and Sega, Nintendo guys absolutely talked about sales. They absolutely talked about Nintendo was the best-selling platform, and definitely tried to wag that in Sega guys' face. And if you were a hardcore Sega dude, you would just say, "Yeah, I know Nintendo's the highest-selling platform, but the games that I prefer are on Sega." And you would drop it and leave it at that.
Yeah.
So that's not a new thing. We talk about game sales because people try and bring up things that aren't objective. But like as my tweet has said, and people should know, 80 million is a bigger number than 30 million. 31.5 billion is a bigger number than 24.5 billion. And 31.5 billion divided by 124 million is a bigger number than 500 million divided by 24.5 billion.
Oh my God, that's a mic drop. Well, we play more games, Logic. We play more games. Analytics show it.
True. And PlayStation players,
it's all good.
More time. But it's all good. We're all gaming. It's all good. We're all gaming. All right, Brap, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's actually a great point. There's the other thing too of the optimization that console has over especially the hardware optimization for something like the PS5 Pro, very highly optimized machine. So there's that people don't talk about when they're discussing this $800 PC unicorn. But I do want to go to Costco. Apparently some of the live chats is now at Sam's Club. I haven't seen that. But Costco has stopped selling the Xbox consoles in the UK and US. And article by GameIndustry.biz says we don't actually have the Xbox anymore. A US Costco store told GameIndustry.biz, but this is also here in the US, as reported by The Gamer earlier this week. Reset Area user Kubev noticed that Costco's online store in the US had removed Xbox products with searches for Xbox not resulting in "we're sorry, we're not able to find a match" error. Likewise, last month a Reddit error noticed that wholesalers online U.S. site no longer showed Xbox products. Get Me to Shoot Out Biz has confirmed this on the U.S. Costco site. The previous landing page for Xbox consoles now shows, "We're sorry, we're not able to find your match." So there you have it. And I don't know if it's Sam's Club is also joined the party, but some of the live chat did mention Sam's Club as well. Costco is, according to, and I didn't pull the thread on this, but according to the guy from Tweaktown, I forget his name, the second largest physical brick and mortar retailer behind Walmart. Mag, go to you, good sir. What do you think about this?
Well, I looked it up, by the way. It's they're also not available at Costco Canada either. So I just looked it up now while you were talking. You're like, okay, UK and the United States. And I'm like, all right, let me check it out. So I checked it out over here. They've also removed it from in New Zealand. They also reduced them to half price. So 50% off. I found one here. It's obviously I can't share the picture, but it says here Series X, the Forza console, in the 1 terabyte for the Series X. It used to be $879.99. They're clearing it out at $439. So they're liquidating their stock in New Zealand. So that's what it's working out to now. $440 New Zealand dollars to United States dollars works out to $258 for Series X consoles. So that's what's going on. So that's what's going on in New Zealand right now. I found that out from somebody that works at Microsoft, sent it to me. He says, look at this. So he sent me to that. And then, so they're selling it for $258 in New Zealand right now to liquidate whatever stock they have left. Canada has nothing. I just checked on the website, and the only thing that they're selling are the gift cards. Like, like those $25 gift cards or whatever. And so they're selling those, and they were selling headphones that actually weren't tied to the company at all. They were just third-party headphones, and that was it. So it's been removed from there completely. There are two thoughts here. My first thought is that they're just not selling. And so Costco is just taking upon themselves to be like, listen, man, we're sitting on stock. We're just not going to bother restocking. For them, it's dollars and cents. If the hardware is not selling, it's no different than a pair of shoes. You know what I mean? It's no different than a box of batteries or, a container of mixed nuts. Whatever's not selling, Costco rotates their stock. Everybody knows that. Like, you go in one day and you're like, oh man, I love those slippers I bought. You go in there the next time, the slippers are gone. And why is it? Because they rotate their stock in and out, and that's why it's so cheap, right? That's why you could buy a pair of jeans for $10. Exactly that reason. So if something is not selling like it is, we've seen the numbers there for the Xbox hardware, the console hardware, then of course it makes absolute business sense that they're going to pull it out of rotation and just be like, nah, we're done with this. It's just not moving. So now the other thing is that I don't think that Microsoft is too beat up about this. And I'll tell you why, because I've always had this thing, and I still stand true on this. And I talked about this on Madcast the other night, and I talked about it on XNC with Colt, and I did a video about it. There's another thought here. And the other thought is, regardless of the fact that there is a next generation console coming from Xbox, their plan from now until then is to start phasing out the hardware that already exists. And the reason why is because not because of sales reasons or any fanboy nonsense reasons. It's because they want to streamline the development. Okay. And what I mean by that is that instead of having to develop for a dedicated Xbox hardware and then develop for the PC and develop for the PlayStation, which they are doing for all their games moving forward, right? So they would streamline. So that's why you hear this talk about how the new Xbox is going to actually have like a Windows Store in it. So basically you're going to be playing, let's say in 2027, the fall of 2027, you will actually be playing a PC, all the PC versions of Xbox games. And that's what they want moving forward, so that it actually saves them a lot of money. It saves them a lot of developers, because they're starting to dump developers anyway, as all the grunt work is going to be replaced by AI. And if you don't see that, well, you're probably going to be one of them, one of those cuts. So there's that. So so what they want to do is their plan, long-term plan. This is the long con, I called it. What they want to do is that they want to streamline development across this. I'm doing quotations, even though you can't see me. Xbox, okay, and which is basically just a PC in a plastic box.
It is an Xbox. It is an Xbox. Don't let them change your mind.
Well, that's why they had those ads. This is an Xbox. This is an Xbox, because they're literally training you to just call everything an Xbox, right? Which is fine. That's totally fine. That if that works, that's great. But I'm just saying, what they want to do is they want to streamline that development across the board, so that you don't actually have to have the extra staff, the extra development, the extra money, and the extra time to have to develop for 3 different systems. Now all you'll be doing is PC and PlayStation. And that is something that I don't think they're too beat up about, the fact that they're trying to phase out this hardware. And that's why you're not seeing a whole lot of it. You're not seeing, and it's all starting, by the way, in a couple of weeks, because the ROG Xbox Ally X.
That's right.
Is a PC.
But it's an Xbox.
But it has access to the Xbox ecosystem, which is what they want. What does that do? That washes their hands of a lot of responsibility, right? So what happens is, at that point, they want to get out of that hardware. They will still offer the hardware, obviously, and it will be expensive. And the reason why is because they're not going to lose. They don't want to lose money on it. And that's the mantra that companies like Apple has always done. And that's why Apple products are so expensive, is because they're like, well, listen, man, even if we sell 4 VR headsets, we don't care. We're selling them for $3,000 because we're not going to lose a dime on it. All they're going to do is lower the production of it. So that's why they're also pushing for a lot of accessibility. And that's why Microsoft is really hard on the accessibility, right? That's why they keep pushing that. Well, you can just play on your TV. You can play on your here. You can play on there. You can play on whatever, right? And they're doing that as well because they're trying to actually actively move people away from that hardware. I mean, PC, that's your own thing, right? Because a PC is basically on its own. That's something that you do. It's a third-party box, okay, or a system that you'll be able to do that. And so this is the plan. You guys see how it's all kind of playing out? And if you actually see the forest through the trees, you'll see exactly what they're doing. And it's not nefarious. They're just trying to save money. Anyway, sorry, what were you going to say, buddy?
Well, Mag, does that mean that PlayStation is an Xbox now?
Well, see, that's what? No, what the hell are you talking about, Brad? The other thing is, sorry, go ahead, buddy.
Everything's an Xbox. That's what they told me.
Well, the reason why is because they want people to be. It's basically a buzzword to make people feel familiar with everything, every single product that you will now associate with access to Game Pass or your library or whatever, right? So, like your TV, like your monitor. Like I have my I bought a new monitor for my PC, and when I turn it on, Game Pass is already there.
Yeah.
Right. When you go to the home screen, Game Pass is there. And then they literally advertise. It says right on there, it says play Borderlands directly off your monitor or whatever the hell it says.
Yeah.
Right. And that is part of it. Right. So that what they want to do is move people away from dedicated hardware. They will still offer it because you're still going to have anywhere from 10 to 20 million people buy an Xbox next generation. Right. And so that being the case, they will still offer that, but it'll be at a premium price so that they don't lose a single dollar on it, right? So it's no skin off their back. So when it comes to all that, like I said, this is all part of the plan. And this is just my thought, my theory, but I am seeing this, and I'm seeing it happen right in front of me in real time. And a lot of people are just not paying attention. And I'm like, guys, if you slow down for 2 seconds and take a long, hard look at everything that I just presented to this, to everybody in the chat and everything else, is that once you look at all that evidence in front of you, you actually see what they're doing. And like I said, it's not nefarious. It's not like some evil plan or something like that. All this is that they're trying to save money. So in the end, where does Microsoft make all their money? On software services. I just got this new PC. I can't access my Microsoft Word anymore. Why? Because now I have to pay for 360. Well, I'm not going to, but I would have to pay for 365 in order to regain my access. Why? Because it's on a yearly membership, right? And this is what they want. They just want Game Pass to be the next 365, the next Microsoft Office, and then you put Xbox Game Pass right next to it. And then guess what? They rake in a ton of money, and then they with very minimal amount of risk. And that is why that's why they're moving forward. Tying this back to the Costco thing, they're not even going to flinch. I bet you they're happy about it. They're like, yeah, whatever, man. Just let's just get people accessing Game Pass in any other way other than trying to sell more hardware to them. Because I really think they're trying to get away from it. And like I said, the ROG Xbox is coming out in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
We don't know the price yet of that officially either.
That is
which is kind of interesting.
Yes, but you see, well, they can announce it at the Tokyo Game Show. But either way, what I'm saying is in 2 years from now, that box that's going to sit under your TV, whatever they call that next Xbox, is exactly what the ROG Xbox is now. So you're going to have, it's basically a PC with accessibility to your library and to the Xbox ecosystem. And that is what they want, because they don't want, and who knows, I know they're saying, well, they're making it in-house. I'm not 100% sure. I also think that's going to happen. I also think that there was possibility that if there's a third party out there who wants to make that hardware, they will 100% make that deal. So the only thing they have to do is sideload their ecosystem into the hardware.
Yeah, the Asus Nook.
Yeah, I was about to say that, Doc. The Asus Nook, they could slap an Xbox logo on it.
Cycle Gamer, no, I'm not Mooch. Although Mooch and I are dear friends. But either way, that is I think that's the plan. Now, one last thing I'm going to touch on. Sorry, I didn't mean to hog the mic for.
Yeah, no, you're good.
But there was one other thing that this all ties in together too, where people talk about, like, let's say PlayStation is going to be on PlayStation games are going to be on Xbox. In a way, they would be. As you will see with this ROG Xbox Ally, you will be able to purchase PlayStation games on it, correct? So that being the case, I think that that's the only accessibility that you're really going to get. You're not getting Wolverine on a Series X or a Series S. It's not going to happen. You will eventually get it on PC. And when you get that on PC eventually, then you will be able to access it on this new Xbox PC hybrid thing that you're going to have under your TV. So in a way, you will be able to get those games. Obviously, you're paying full price. You ain't getting nothing in Game Pass. I'll tell you that right now. But you will be paying full price for those games. But you will wait, and you will get them the same day they come out on PC. And that's another thing that they want too. They take their 30% cut, and then Sony takes their 70% cut, being their publisher. These guys are making money hand over fist, both companies, and they're looking for cost-effective ways to move forward. And
Xbox won't make money off Wolverine on a PC
right,
hybrid. They'll
Steam
jump on
will.
Steam. Yeah. So Xbox won't make that money.
Unless
so I hear what you're saying, Mag, and that is a good idea. But as somebody that just left the Xbox console to go to PC, like the problem that I foresee them having, like, yeah, they're making money off of software, but I could see a lot of gamers just switching over to Steam. Like, I get it, Game Pass is a great deal and everything like that. We all know the prices of Game Pass will eventually go up as well. But right now, correct me if I'm wrong, most of Game Pass subscribers are on console. So if they put themselves in a situation where more people, they don't want people to be on console, they want people to be on this hybrid PC, they got to sell people on moving to this hybrid PC thing. And once they go over there, and people discover what Steam is, maybe it doesn't turn out the way that they think is going to turn out.
Yeah, so but that's why I'm not sure that Steam is going to be on there. And that's why I'm saying, why do you think that they said when they made those cuts and everything else that they talked about, what was the first thing that they said? They said, we are going to focus on improving the Windows Store. Remember that? It was literally the same day. Remember I call it the red wedding for Microsoft. Remember when they killed those games and then they laid off a bunch of people and whatever else.
So Matt, can I throw my conspiracy theory in here?
Of course.
So I hear what you're saying, Mac. I do think Steam will be. I think that they are going to improve the Windows Store. In my mind, the Windows Store design from a UI perspective, from an experiential perspective, is only going to get but so good, and it's just never going to get as good as Steam.
Right.
I think I think they're still going to go forward with this notion that so where they've already started from a game collection perspective, a game library perspective, right, where they're now presenting you all of your games regardless of what storefront you purchase them through.
Yes.
In the Xbox app UI, I think they're going to extend that, right? Because in the Game Pass UI on PC now, that view, right, also platforms you to game purchases, right? So you see games that are in there from a library perspective, but then you can just do another click and you're in a purchase window.
Yes,
true.
I think the way they're going to orient the UI is that when you get into a sales modality, right, in that UI, there's going to there's not going to be, you're not going to bounce to a separate UI. They're going to allow you to see both Steam and Xbox games available. Right, it's going to be a game. Like let's say it's the PC port of Wolverine. They're going to show you Wolverine, okay, and they're going to present you two buttons to either purchase it through the Xbox Store or purchase it through Steam.
Right,
and they will do nefarious kind of UI sleight of hand that we do as developers to encourage you to buy it from the Xbox Store which
I was
means
about to say, how are they gonna get you to buy from the Xbox?
They'll take the Xbox click and put it on the left, because most human beings click the thing on the left versus the thing on the right, or they'll put the Xbox thing, they'll arrange them horizontally and put the Xbox thing on top. They'll color the Xbox thing green and the Steam thing gray. They will do things
I see.
They will do things, and then you will just become the victim of the default, right? And you'll just purchase it. Now, some people will be savvy consumers and they'll know which one they're doing.
Sure.
But a lot of consumers won't, right? A lot of your people just coming over from console into PC won't know any better. And so before you know it, you're going to have purchased a bunch of games through the Xbox app on PC. In the Windows Store or in PC, there will be Microsoft purchases, and that will be where your growing library becomes.
Yeah. All right. That makes absolute sense. I did speak to somebody about Microsoft that a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, it was in the spring. And he was talking about, it's not even just going to be about play anywhere. It's going to be pay anywhere. Right. So it's going to be the point where it's going to be what he said. He said he wasn't happy about the idea because he said he was afraid it was going to be a race to the bottom, so to speak. Right. And what I mean by that is a race to the bottom of who can offer the better deal on the one game, because then wherever you buy it from is going to take that cut of the money, and other people are going to get cut out of it. So now you're going to have these competing storefronts. Right.
And that's another thing. There'll be things like the percentage discount, right, for a game.
Sure.
Right. And there'll be an effort to always make the Xbox One like lower or lesser or the better deal. There'll obviously be the Game Pass cut now, right? It's just like they do now, right? They present you the price of the game, but then they right below it or right near it say, hey, but if you were on Game Pass, the game would only be this.
You get 10% off or whatever if you're a member and this and that. Yeah.
It's the digitalization of the same thing that we've done in retail, right, for years. It's putting things on the end caps. It's putting, goofy signage around them to make it seem like it's a great deal. It's all the stuff in clearance, right, on the clearance table. Right, that you have to walk by to get to the aisle of the stuff that you want. Right, it's that effort that, and we do this today, right, in UIs, and it's going to be, I believe, that type of thing, which is going to encourage driving people to making point of sale purchases right through the digital pathway that is Xbox on PC.
Can I ask you guys something then? Because this is it sounds very interesting, but I have a simple question of, if this happens, how many people do you think actually care about their game score and their trophies and all that other stuff? Because that's one of the things that I know that Steam does very well, is that when you buy something on Steam, you're getting the Steam quote unquote credit as far as trophies and score and all that other stuff. Whereas on Xbox, the app on PC or the Game Pass app, like if I play something like Assassin's Creed, for instance, right? I'm not getting Xbox trophies when I'm playing a Ubisoft game. I'm getting Ubisoft trophies and achievements and whatever, So now, to me, I don't care about trophies or gamer score or anything like that, but I wonder if they're moving people from consoles that are used to having all their gamer scores transfer over and all that stuff transfer over. Do you think that's gonna deter some people from?
They will have to bring that stuff over. That's going to be a challenge that they're going to have to figure out when they make this move. Like I said, it's a long con. It's not like this is not going to be an overnight thing where you press a button and all of a sudden you're like, by the way, this is what's happening. This is an evolution over time. And this is something that they want to have done, because if you think about these corporations, they're not thinking about tomorrow or next week or next month. They're thinking 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 30 years from now. They've got those projections that far ahead. And that being the case, this is not the short game they're doing. This will start with the ROG Xbox Ally, and then it will continue to evolve from there. And then 2 years from now, when the new consoles come out, those will also be in the same league as the ROG Xbox Ally. Now, my question is, if you're saying you're not getting those achievements, for example, on the Xbox ecosystem, so you're telling me that you're not, like, if you got a ROG Xbox Ally, whatever, and you bought Assassin's Creed Shadow on it, you're telling me you don't get achievements on it? Is that what you're saying?
If you buy it, not necessarily, but if you're playing it on Game Pass, right? Because I do this, right? If you play it's on Game Pass, right? So the Ubisoft Plus, and so is EA Plus on Game Pass, right? If you play one of those games, you're not getting Xbox achievements. You can go and you can see which games you're actually going to get Xbox achievements on, and on some of them you won't. Whereas if you're playing that same game on a console, Assassin's Creed, you are getting the Xbox achievements because you're playing the PC version of the game. Here's something else that a lot of people don't know that I found out the hard way. Some games don't transfer your saves over. So for me, it was the first one I found that out was Dishonored, right? So when I was playing Dishonored on my Xbox Series X and I started playing it on my Asus ROG Ally, the Xbox ROG Ally version of Dishonored on the Xbox Game Pass app is the Windows version. So it's not the same. So you literally start a whole new game. A lot of people don't know that, but again, because I have like the game, like I said, you know, when you walk the walk and you've done this, you understand. So when people are saying like it's not going to play my Xbox games, that narrative to me irks me because it's wrong. It is playing Xbox games. What you're saying is it's not playing your Xbox console games. And that's for some games, it's correct. Some games do transfer saves. So like Forza Motorsport, that transfer saves. Forza Motorsport is so good that it transfers your save to Steam. So if you have a profile on Forza Motorsport on Xbox and you buy the game on Steam, it'll transfer all your saves and everything over to the Steam version, which is incredible. You know what game doesn't do that? Starfield. How do I know? Because I bought Starfield on Steam, and when I try to do that, it doesn't do it. Halo Infinite as well. Halo Infinite, if you buy it on Steam, it'll transfer your multiplayer saves, like your levels and all that other stuff. It'll transfer it completely over. So that's really what they got to work on. But as far as like
wild, like I didn't realize there was such inconsistencies there because I don't game on PC. I have a 3060. I have a 3060 here, but I bought it for YouTube. I didn't buy it to game on it. I mean, you guys are PC guys. Like, how is a 3060 decent, like for gaming or what?
Well, the 3060 right now is one of the most used GPUs according to Steam. Okay. But here's the reality.
I don't use it for that. I literally use it for my for high fidelity streaming, and then of course for my YouTube channel or whatever else, because I got so many moving parts when I do my shows and stuff, right? So I just bought it for the horsepower. So I didn't realize it, but so I don't actually game on this thing. It's just there for that. Now, that being the case, I didn't realize that there was so much discrepancy as to all the stuff you're talking about here. And I'm like, man, that's a lot of headaches that they got to work out. But mind you, they're getting paid a lot of money to do it.
But this is why, Mag.
In the chat, he just says this is going to be a hilarious mess. He's absolutely correct.
No, it is because people don't want to listen. Like when I've been trying to tell them this, like the best Xbox experience is on PC. And now when the people pick up this Xbox ROG Ally, like for me, I'm perfectly fine because I'm playing on PC. So it's literally when I pick this thing up, it's literally just a handheld PC for me. But it is an Xbox because Xbox is branding it. It's an Xbox. What it's not an Xbox console. But those people that are playing on the Xbox console, they're gonna see the different headaches that they're gonna have to deal with. Unless here's the workaround around it, they play it on the cloud. So the Assassin's Creed version, if you play it on xCloud, is not the same Assassin's Creed that you're playing if you downloaded it natively. Which again, people don't know this unless you actually have an Asus ROG Ally and you actually have been playing with this machine since it dropped. So if you want to play, so people say, well, on PC you can't play Fable 1 and 2. Yes, I can. I just got to play it through xCloud, and I'll be able to play it. You know what I mean? But then xCloud is a whole nother topic. But yeah, when this thing actually comes out, the people that are going to be perfectly fine are people that are already using Xbox on PC because to them it's a handheld PC. And if you wanted to use Steam instead, then you could go ahead and use Steam instead if you want to. But yeah, the Xbox console gamer, man, I feel bad for them, man.
Scott Free in the chat, he says, I'm confused. You know what? So am I. I'm just like at this point, my eyes just went cross-eyed, and I'm just like, you know what? This sounds like way too much effort for me. I just want to turn on my damn box and then play the things, get my trophies, get my achievements, and just go to bed. Like, I don't want to think about all this other stuff. Like, this is wild to me.
Yeah, and I don't want to make light of it, right? But I mentioned this as like a proof point, right? And it shouldn't be surprising to anyone that it's going to be a mess because we have already forgotten. It was a mess at the changeover of the generation on both PlayStation and Xbox. Right. Like, I have a hard time remembering what was worse than PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 and Xbox One to Xbox Series, where the stores were really conjoined, right? And the content was overlapped.
Oh, you're right.
And you would buy a game, right? And you had to sort out, wait, is this the series version of the game or is it the Xbox One version of the game?
Yes.
And then worse, when you would have smart buy, right, or just titles that were included those versions, then it wouldn't default. Like if you were on PlayStation 5, it wouldn't default to downloading the PlayStation 5 version.
Yes.
It would often download the PlayStation 4 version. And then you would have to uninstall it or stop it, right, and back it off and download the new thing. The fact that it defaulting to downloading the PlayStation 5 version now today, it was not that way at the beginning of the generation. That clicked in like 3 years. That was the most frustrating thing in the world. And now we're gonna lift to a different platform, right? At least Xbox is. And try and replicate this thing over again, right? Of course, it's absolutely going to be a mess. There's no other way around it.
Reminded me of. I remember when when Horizon Forbidden West came out, and they had upped the price on the PS5, and people were complaining because like they said that they weren't going to do that, like the $10 upgrade, whatever. So then they reneged it, and you could buy the PlayStation 4 version, and if you played it on your PS5, it would upgrade. But the only way you could buy the PlayStation 4 version on the PS5 store was if you bought it on the app. I remember that because I bought Forza Horizon 5 on the app so I could get the PS4 version. So then when I played it on the PS5, it upgraded it to it. And I remember it was crazy. I was like, wow, the fact that you got to do this was ridiculous. And a lot of people just ended up paying $70 for the game or whatever it was, whatever the $10 upcharge was, whatever. But I forgot about that. Yeah, the beginning of the generation, it was weird.
Then it stands to reason that my thoughts and theories of what Microsoft wants to do, specifically Microsoft, is going to happen then, because then they're not really worried about the logistical nightmare. They'll just kind of power through it, like Logic was saying about the beginning of this generation. So okay. So anyway, I'm like I said, that's my thought. Those are my theories, and I've spoken to people at Microsoft who said that's what they want to do, and that's what they goes. Why do you think all this talk of PC hybrid stuff is happening? Because they want to streamline everything into one service, and that's all there is to it. And cut down on the cost and everything else. But anyways, we got way off topic there. We were just talking about Costco, for Christ's sake. All of a sudden, we went to this like surreal conversation.
Let me platform off of your argument, right? Because it helps what I keep trying to caution people about, and I talk about like what are some of the downsides of this advocating for games being on all platforms, right? So now we're looking at Xbox, and it makes absolute logical sense that if I were a business and I were trying to be multi-platform and put my games in as many places as I possibly could, I would want to make that as cost efficient as possible. And so one of the ways to do that is to flatten out the wrinkles and eliminate any delta that there is between the console and PC. Right? That makes sense. So now let's take that further. What else do we see Xbox doing? We see Xbox getting rid of and trying to move all their studios away from proprietary in-house engines and get everybody over to UE5.
Yes.
Right. So for their business model, that makes sense. But how is this a problem? This is a problem because we have lots of commentary going on in the gaming community that, hey, when you look around at UE5 games, we even go back to the last state of play before this one. And many of us made the comment that like, that was good, but there was something. Oh, I know what it is. Everything kind of looks samey. Right. Because at the last state of play, there wasn't a lot of first party stuff and there was a ton of stuff on UE5.
Right.
Because when developers are using UE5, they're all going to the same Epic store. They're all getting the same assets, and they customize and tailorize from there. But they're all coming from the same fountain, right? Mm-hmm. So you get a ubiquitous engine that has the same capabilities, that everybody's learning the same tricks to make work on different platforms. You're going to naturally drift into a creative environment where a lot of things are very much the same. Now I'm going to have this voice track where I'm going to say this is what the whole industry needs to do. So now let's go to that state. So now you have the whole industry doing that. Everything looks samey. There's not a ton of product differentiation. What is it now? Now we're flashing back to 1983, right? To the elimination of the video game market in the United States, right?
Oh no, don't say that.
Because there's not a ton of product differentiation. Everything kind of looks the same. There's no real way to differentiate what the quality difference is between games.
Yeah.
So now, what is the only thing games can compete on? Price.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A race to the bottom. That's
exactly.
And that was the exact words that I spoke to a Microsoft executive that he said he wasn't happy with the direction. And he says, because it's going to turn into a pay anywhere, not a play anywhere. And he says, and what this is going to do, he goes, I fear, those were almost, I think his exact words. He says, I fear that's going to create a race to the bottom.
I don't like this, BRAP. Change the topic. This is doom and gloom. No,
Indies
are going to save us. Indies are going to save us like they're doing right now.
Well, Mag, it's funny you mentioned it, Mag. You're not the only one to bring this up, by the way. I've heard other developers voice this concern.
Developers. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Colin Moriarty's brought this up. Kind of the race to the bottom. We've talked about it. Game Logic, you've always referred to it as pork bellies. Because you're right, and that's the thing. Like when people talk about games everywhere, it's like, do you really know what you're asking for? What the downstream impact can be to the industry?
I like games everywhere.
If there's no product differentiation,
sounds like communism to me.
I don't.
Well, I mean, it is communism.
Logic.
Everybody gets a bicycle.
Oh.
Yeah, everyone's bicycles. No, but it loses value though.
Come to the video game line on Thursdays at 10 a.m. right in your local town center, and bring your chit. Right, that authorizes you to get your 2 video games, right? In the state will issue them to you.
What?
Oh,
what is happening?
Exactly.
All because I want Wolverine on PC?
You get your box of flour and rice. You get your bicycle, and everybody gets
flour and rice.
No, there's no way.
Hey, Mac, speaking of flour, I got to say I was impressed by the bread that you made on that fire pit. But go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
It's pretty interesting that it doesn't stick, eh? You would think that it would stick directly on the coals, and I was scared to do it. I'm like, but apparently you just throw the dough directly on the coals of an open fire.
Hell did we go to talk about bread? What the hell is happening?
So Doc, you can have Wolverine on PC, and this is what I get frustrated by. And BRAP and I talk about this. This is the effort by so many content creators to squeegee all the detail out of the conversation, right? Remove all the nuance. Right, put it underneath an iron and smooth out all the wrinkles. Right, take it to the dry cleaners, put it under the hot press. Right.
Goddamn, I got the reference, Logic. Goddamn.
Like you can have Wolverine on PC, right? Okay, but there's thresholds. Look, I'm gonna use your line now because it's so much true. There's levels to this.
That's facts. There's levels to this.
Like there's things you can do, and absolutely right. PlayStation can put games on PC, right? And Xbox can put games on PlayStation. Xbox can be its own business model. And it can put its games on Xbox, Nintendo, PC, and PlayStation. That works for them. But the extrapolation that therefore that's what everyone has to do, right? Which is an argument that's leveraged purely so that a certain group and community can say, see, now I told you guys they figured it out. Now all of you guys are following them, right? I'm like, no, like there's dangers and negatives to that. And I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying that like, your argument says all of these things will be positive. It voices all the pros, but you haven't considered the cons. You haven't walked the dog. And in order for this to be a fully fleshed out conversation, we have to get into that nuance. And we have to not just be dismissive and wipes things off the table because, well, I don't think it'll hurt them. But
I'm sorry, Logic. I see the glass half full. Okay? I'm an optimistic guy. All right? You over there want to see the glass half empty. Telling that we're gonna go to 2 games a year by the government. That's crazy.
I think Max said rice and flour.
In Russia, game plays you.
Yeah. That's terrifying.
Oh my God.
Terrifying.
Mac, could you say that again, please?
I don't like this.
Hey man, we got a lot of Russians here in Canada. Okay,
no, this is
he said it. He said it.
Hey, this is a conversation.
That's what's gonna happen, Doc. You're gonna get those messages on your television from state television. Yeah, you'd be like, "Oh man, I can't wait for the game to come out."
Oh my goodness, man!
Remember,
speaking about commercials on television, is Xbox gonna put commercials on Game Pass?
He said, remember,
they
go see Yodi.
They do it in their operating system now.
Look,
I get advertisements. I got advertisements that show up on. Sorry, you mean advertisements in the service is what you're talking about?
Yeah. Like if I go to load up a game, I gotta watch like a 15-minute advertisement first. If I have like the cheapest tier of Game Pass.
Well, I mean they're doing it.
Hulu and Netflix does it, right?
Amazon does it if you don't pay.
Amazon does, yeah. Netflix.
Yeah, if you don't pay, Amazon does it. Netflix does it. We don't have Hulu up here. We have Crave, but it's the same thing.
But Matt, pretty much all the streaming platforms are doing that now, where it's like you have that premium tier.
Right. You know where I could see that? Just like as a thought, I could.
Xbox is doing it already, Mac.
What's that?
Xbox is doing it already with tiers. I mean, you have
on what
the Game Pass tiers.
They have ads on it.
No,
not ads. I'm saying like just tiers. Like they've tiered out.
If I were to make an educated guess, I would say that the next price hike, they may offer that cheaper solution. Where you would have to watch advertisements.
And I got to be quite like
that wouldn't surprise me.
and this is a tough
Mac
thing.
heard something, by the way.
Ron. Sorry.
This is a tough thing for some people to sometimes swallow. Like despite the things that I said, like in Doc, right? There's always there's levels to this, right?
Right.
I'm very concerned about things being done that can drag the industry down, right? And hook everybody up to a common anchor, right? That weighs everybody down. However, that being said, I'm fully in support of there being business models that allow more people to have access to video gaming. Like, I think that's great, right? I won't get into the whole story,
Absolutely.
but I talked about my own personal story.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair.
You know, where I say, you know, I grew up poor. I was lucky to get access to video games, and that getting that access put me on a path, which has led to my life being very well, right? So the notion that like some other poor kid who isn't interested in math and science and engineering can get access to video games, and maybe that puts him on that same path. Like, I'm all for that. So I don't have any problem with an ad-supported tier of Game Pass that is less expensive. You know, I'm quite honestly, I'm in support. I would be fine with a metered advertising tier that's zero cost, right? You buy an Xbox, it's zero cost. You have to watch ads, and that allows you to play games for, I don't know, 10, 12 hours a week, something, right? Different business models, and I mean, this is the bigger thesis, different business models are great. Different business models and different ways for the industry to monetize are great. It's absolutely awesome that Xbox is a subscription and services company, and PlayStation is a hardware and entertainment company, and Nintendo, right, that follows a very Apple-esque path, and Nintendo is a company that's very deeply rooted in IP, even more so than PlayStation, and follows a Disney-esque type of business model. Like, that's great. They're all three doing different things. That is what gives consumers choice. Giving consumers choice, to me, isn't necessarily automatically putting games on every platform. Giving consumers choice is us all having different business models to consume from.
Yeah, I agreed.
Yeah, I agree with that 110%. I mean, and to kind of double down your point, Logic, about.
I want to argue with it, but I can't. It's pretty good.
There's levels to this, Doc.
There's levels to this.
Yeah. You should trademark that, by the way. No, seriously, like it's you know, we talked about it on this show quite a bit. You probably heard me talk about this too on Crossfire Mag. When we start losing those product differentiators, right? In the form of exclusives, then the only way to differentiate, and I know I'm kind of repeating what Logic said, but just to drive home this point, when we lose that product differentiation, and you were seeing this in the mobile space, right? The only differentiation then becomes price, and it's a race to the bottom.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement on this.
Yeah, like but I think people don't realize, and this is why I'm saying this again, right, Mag? I know everyone agrees here on the panel. I know you've scared Doc.
Hold on. I don't agree. I don't want it to be a race to the bottom.
I'm saying we agree that we don't want it. We don't want that.
We're just seeing where the path is going.
Yeah.
If you just look at the trend and look at the evidence, and you could see where it's going. You know, sorry, go ahead, Brad.
But what I find weird, though, Mag, is that people are arguing against their own self-interest as consumers, and that's the part that drives me crazy. Like, Why would you argue for a race to the bottom where price is now the differentiator? Because that's not a good look.
Yeah, because I'm not looking at it that way. The only thing I care about is my platform going to get all the games? And I don't see why I need to buy a PlayStation if I want to play PlayStation games when my PC is capable of playing PlayStation games. Now, luckily for me, PlayStation sees that as well.
You're getting those games, though. But you're getting those games on PC. Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
But what I'm saying is what you're talking about is different than what some pundits and podcasters discuss, and people in the community, where it's this communist state, as Mac put it, where we're all lining up for, I think you said, flour and rice.
Yeah.
And there's and games are and Yuri's, asking for your card, your state issue card. But no, it's there's no exclusivity. Games are everywhere. There's no product differentiators in the marketplace. That's what I'm referring to.
The thing is, there's something important to remember here, and this is, we all know this, but a lot of people don't think about it. Is that the fight for the dollar is not so much the fight for the dollar. Like, when I see people arguing, they're like, "Oh, well, why do you guys even bother talking about that? It's just a piece of plastic or whatever," right? And I've talked about this a million times before. It's not the piece of plastic that's important. It's the access to the storefront that's important. And that's what the company is thinking about. They don't give a shit about the box. right? If they make 50 bucks, what do you think? They're $1 billion company and $1 trillion company respectively because they made 50 bucks off of each console? It's got nothing to do with that. All it has to do is that they can almost break even just enough on the hardware because you get access to the store. And that's where they want to put you in front of. So this is where this doesn't make any logical sense. So if you think about it, like for example, PlayStation is never going to change. Sony and Nintendo are never going to change their strategies.
Because they don't have to.
Well, for the most part, they won't. But the thing is, the reason why is because they only have one access. They only have one access point to their storefront. Right? There is no Sony store, to purchase PC games or whatever. It's all on the
not
Sony.
Not yet. Why can't they make one?
But what for? Here's the thing. At the end of the day, they got one access point. So those sales of those consoles are very important to them. Same with Nintendo. Nintendo has one access point. The Nintendo
the problem
store.
All of this is that Xbox is making all these moves, but they're being vindicated. Like Forza Horizon 5 shouldn't have sold well on PlayStation, but it did. So of course Xbox is looking at it like, okay, this makes sense. Why would we not keep doing this? Listen, when Halo drops on PlayStation, it's gonna sell like crazy.
But they have a different business strategy, though. Their strategy is completely different from Sony's, and that's why when people compare them, I'm like, you guys are literally comparing apples and oranges here because they've spread out into. Their mantra is accessibility now, right? Like we said at the beginning of the show, monitors, TVs, cell phones, tablets, whatever the hell you got, smart TV, your smart TVs, you just turn it on. There's an Xbox app right there on the screen when you turn it on. And so they did that for accessibility. So they wanted to kind of get it out there everywhere. Whereas as it stands right now, and this is why you still see third-party exclusive deals on Sony and stuff like that and whatever, like we just saw today with the State of Play. And the reason why they continue to do that is because they want you to buy the box, because the box is the only accessibility point to their storefront. And this is what all these companies do. Like I said before, if you're watching Reacher Season 3 and you're having a great time watching it, do you think that Amazon gives a shit that you're watching Reacher Season 3? Or do they use that as an accessibility point so that the next time you get a hole in your sock, you go to Amazon because you're already paying for it? So you're getting free delivery for your socks. They want you in the storefront. And all of these things are distractions to funnel you into the storefront, just like a casino. In the end, they all take your money. So this is what they want. So by removing that exclusivity, let's say, you're going to distract people from your storefronts, and that is why you're not going to see Sony and Nintendo do that. That is why you will not see them do that day and date or whatever else. You saw Wolverine today, right? You think you're going to get that anywhere else?
On PC?
Not a goddamn chance.
No, it's
and
coming
I saw
to
people
PC.
in the chat going, "Oh, it's going to come to PC day one," and I'm like, "No,
not day one, but it's coming to PC.
It will.
It will, yeah.
It will, but it might take a year, might take 2, might be 3. We don't know.
Months. It's going to be 6 months.
I don't think they're going to shorten those windows. You see how
Sony's
different?
Not going to be that dumb. Sony's not going to be that dumb, especially if Xbox is going to turn all their console gamers into PC gamers, anyways.
It's also later in the generation, right? When you have like games like Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2 came out, the consoles were hard to come by, right? And so the sales weren't very high. Well, now you're coming up on 100 million. So if they can sell anywhere between, let's say, 15 million and 20 million for Wolverine, there's no rush to bring this to PC. PC gamers will wait. There's no question in my mind they'll wait.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Unless they already have a PlayStation at home. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you see what I'm getting at? And like, for example, I'll bring you one other example. When I first entered the Xbox ecosystem, I was watching the great Buffalo Bills on television, and I'm watching the Bills game, and a commercial came on for Dead Rising. You guys remember that game, Dead Rising? The one that was like what the hell was it called? Dawn of the Dead? Remember the one with the shopping mall? The game. You guys don't remember the Dead Rising?
Yeah. The one with Frank, whatever his name is, as the protagonist.
Frank. Right. So I'm watching football. This is like 20 years ago. Okay. And I'm watching football, and this commercial comes on. I sit up. I go, God damn it, that game looks good. And I'm like, what is this? And I'm a big zombie fan, right? And I'm a huge George A. Romero fan, so I love all the zombie movies. And I'm like, that looks like Dawn of the Dead. He's like in a shopping mall with all these zombies. And then I see him take out a dude with a lawnmower blade. And I'm just like, okay, I'm sold. This game's got great graphics, looks fantastic, made by Capcom. I'm in. And then it said, exclusively on Xbox 360. Do you know what I did? After the football game, I drove to GameStop. In those days up here, it was called EB Games. I drove there and bought an Xbox 360, and Xbox got my storefront loyalty for years.
Yeah, but that's not good for you. That's good for Xbox. But imagine if you would have saw that same commercial and then you would have been able to buy that game on whatever platform.
But it's still my choice. But it's still my choice. It's still my choice to buy it or not.
They made you buy the Xbox.
Yeah, but that's what they want.
But
what they got out of me.
That's not what I want as a consumer. I want to be able to buy the game on whatever platform I want.
I know, but that's not how capitalism works, though.
I mean, the upside of doing it the way Mag did it, and this is the same argument we hear for PlayStation. And I'm not saying your argument doesn't have a place either, Doc. Right? It absolutely does. But there's something called CLV, customer lifetime value, right? And it is for each consumer that I have engaging in my ecosystem on my platform, how much money do I make off that human being over the lifetime that they're going to spend as a participant in my ecosystem?
Bingo.
And when a person buys a console, right, and accesses your digital storefront, right, as the tightly coupled access pathway to content, they buy a bunch of other stuff. We probably need to get into the state of play, BRAP, but today's state of play is a football spike of the exact same thing I'm talking about. Because why in the F does Sony make a pair of desktop speakers that use a proprietary wireless interface protocol, right, for communicating with your PlayStation devices wirelessly? Don't talk to anything else. They make them in 2 different colors, of all things. Why does Sony bother doing that?
Well, no,
they do
because they know I'm going to buy it.
They do it to anchor people into their ecosystem. And they also do it because people in their ecosystem, right, utilize that stuff and see that stuff of value and buy it. And so selling them that console means that they buy games, they buy controllers, they buy speakers, they buy the Pulse Elite headset, they buy the PlayStation Portal. If you're on Xbox way back in the day, right? I mean, it's sometimes think it's funny, and Doc, I don't think you're doing this, but I think it's sometimes funny, the hardcore Xbox people who just refuse to acknowledge that they're constantly stuffing in other people's faces how many, the drawer full of freaking Xbox controllers that they have out of the design lab.
No, I do this. I'm sorry.
You know,
they got.
I mean,
I've got. You know how many Xbox controllers I got? And I got 2 custom ones. I got 3 Elite. They got me.
And that's why they do that stuff.
My wife sold her Series X. I still have mine. She sold her for PlayStation 5. But I also had a ton of controllers. I sold 5 in that bundle. I gave her 5 of my controllers. I still have 7 controllers here.
Yeah, I have a lot of
right. And what else did they do? They got years. They got years of me purchasing from the store. Everything I bought from the store, I bought there. Right. So that's exactly what the logic is talking about.
No, you guys are explaining it well as why the business would do it. But I'm trying to understand why I would want this. So why would I not want? Yeah, you're explaining why it's good for Xbox and Sony to be different, but you're not explaining why it's good for me.
So it's because there are different types of consumers, right? And so let's talk about the type of consumer you are. If you're the type of consumer who is a digital nomad and is a platform polyglot and is fine, having a little bit of stuff on their poo-poo platter, right, from each different platform, then that's why they do put a game over on your platform, right? Maybe they do it on a time delay. Maybe they do it via some other path. Maybe they let somebody else publish it, they did with Death Stranding, right? And for you types of consumers who at the end of the day, not to throw shade at you guys, but at the end of the day, you are a lower valued customer.
I don't know how that's not throwing shade.
My other customer.
Tell them to say it better.
Oh my God!
Tell them to say it different.
You're a lower valued, right? You're
the same thing, BRAP. What are we doing?
Look. If I have a bunch of people living in an apartment complex, right, and some of my units cost more in rent than. Yes, in your rent costs less. Yes, I care about you, but at the end of the day, you're paying me less rent than that other dude is, right?
Hey, you know who you're talking about right now? You're talking about the Xbox console gamer.
Yeah,
that's who Xbox doesn't care about.
Right.
In my opinion, Xbox doesn't care about the console gamer as much as they care about. I think they care more about the subscription gamer, right? Whoever's on Game Pass, and they definitely care about PC.
Right. And so to answer your question, why would a customer want it? Because let's talk about a different type of customer. because there are some customers who care about getting software, right, in this hyper-specific example of games, that care about getting software that is coded as closely to the metal as possible, that ekes and squeezes every ounce of performance out of that hardware platform that they can. And that development team is not distracted by getting 12 months to spend, right, working on it to put it on their platform, but after 12 months, right, putting some of their team on getting it onto another platform. They're not distracted by all of the other things that have to go along with getting that game on another platform.
Okay, so you know this to be true, Game Lodge. You're gonna know this better than I do. So please tell me the truth here. Is it really that much harder to develop for multiple platforms than it is to just develop for one? Is it really that much harder? I'm honestly asking, especially since people are telling me that the PS5 and the Xbox are pretty similar, anyways.
So they're similar in hardware, and people are being disingenuous because they're not including all of the other stuff in it, right? So from a hardware perspective, they're similar, yes, but that's like me saying a Ford and a Chevy both run off internal combustion engines, right? But there's tons
BRAP,
of
mute him. I don't like his answer. Mute him.
There's tons of engineering in between that, right? In between that hardware platform and that are different. And the key one that I always point out is that they code on top of different abstraction layers. So Xbox codes on top of DirectX, and the abstraction layer is the translation layer through which code accesses hardware, right? That and it has a bunch of APIs and it has a bunch of instruction sets that are specific to that abstraction layer, right? There's not a ton of commonality between them. And so they do on Xbox and on PC, that's via DirectX. On PlayStation, it is a proprietary in-house PlayStation abstraction layer that, as far as I understand, originates out of OpenGL. Now, OpenGL used to be a very big thing in the PC space, but it's not as big in the PC space now.
Yeah, I remember OpenGL back. I have no idea what you're talking about, Logic. So no, the answer is no. It's not the same.
Yeah, they're not the same. But I'm not gonna put a number on like it's 20% more. Like all I always say is I always say whatever the difference is, it ain't zero, right? That's the people who have that narrative. They try to tell you that it's zero, and it's not zero. But my bigger thing is you look at the two different models, right? Again, Xbox, what are they doing? Right, deprioritizing any use of in-house proprietary studio engines, get over to UE5. On PlayStation, it is still that team codes that application for the PlayStation 5 platform for all of the hyper-specific capabilities that are on PlayStation 5. And then when they are done, or I'm even willing to say when they are 92% done, they take that build and they hand it off to Nixes, and somebody else goes and takes care of getting that game onto another platform. So that team, that primary team in the funnel, they don't have that overhead. They don't have that complexity. They don't have those schedule constraints. They don't have that integration, right? They don't have those multiple balls to juggle in the air. That's a Nixus problem.
I see.
And there are people who put value on that.
This generation.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd say Nixus, but it's Nixus, Iron Galaxies, Blue Point.
They don't exactly work for free. Right. So
right.
So you're paying. It's not like you're paying. Well, they're going to go port that. So they'll do that free of charge. This is all ties into what I was talking about earlier about what I presume is going to happen on the Microsoft side of things, as to be able to, like I said, to streamline development in one way for the Xbox and PC, and then one more for the PlayStation instead of three. So you're doing two instead of three, and then there you go. Time, money, headaches, manpower, women power, AI power.
and I absolutely agree with that. And my pushback on people who took this job wreck and said, PlayStation's going to put their games on every platform, and you're going to start seeing their tentpole franchises coming everywhere. And I said, time out. If I were trying to run that kind of business, what I would do is I would stop putting stuff on top of my proprietary PlayStation in-house abstraction layer. I would move everybody over to DirectX. I would move everybody over to UE5. I would do the same thing Xbox is doing. I would then also expand Nixes and Blue Point, because those studios are less than 100 people, right?
Right.
I would expand them, and I would start running a different type of development house than I do at PlayStation now. And I'm like, when I start seeing that, that's what tells me that that's what's happening. Not because some management director position got opened up. That's an account manager for multi-platform. That, first of all, that job rec means something completely different than the way people read it. It means something completely different at any Fortune 500 company that you go to work at. That is not what that job, what people thought that job was, is not what that job does.
Man, but wasn't it good for the console war, though?
It was.
Man, wasn't it good? I read like 10 videos of that. You should have seen the mad ponies. They were mad. No, oh, man. So you don't think they're going to keep putting games on Xbox? Because Helldivers is there. You don't think because the rumor right now is that Forbidden Zero Dawn is coming to Xbox.
Yeah, I don't believe any of those rumors, because what ends up happening is every week there's a different game, and it's like, well, this week Spider-Man's coming, and then next week it's like, you know, Horizon Forbidden West or whatever, and this and that, and then as the weeks progress, nothing actually happens. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, I have yet to see any proof of any of that.
Yeah, but Helldivers made it.
Helldivers 100% was good. I mean, I know hindsight is 20/20, but if you sit back and look at it, Helldivers was always going to eventually make its way over there as a multiplayer game. It made sense that you'd want to expand. Now, the fact that
there's a lot of people that say nay, though.
What's that?
There's a lot of people that said nay, that it wasn't going to go. The only person I do remember that said it was going. I remember Boomstick said it.
Yeah, Mr. Boomstick, he was very adamant saying that it was coming over there, so he gets credit for that 100%. But for me, I didn't have a dog in that fight, so I didn't really care. I was just like, listen, man, I'm playing it on PlayStation. I bought it on PlayStation. If it goes to Xbox a year and a half later, great, whatever. It doesn't affect my life. And then, of course, cross-platform. What surprised me, by the way, just to be slightly off topic, is that it damn near sold 1 million copies on Xbox. That was incredible. And I was just like, holy shit, I really did not expect that to happen. The Xbox community really came out in full force and bought the damn thing. So, I mean,
yeah, we know what we're doing. I bought it just to send Sony a signal.
A bat signal.
Yeah.
Listen, but it was also $40. You know, that also plays a lot into it too, like the price. If that was a $70 game, you know, a lot of people might balk at that, right? But anyways, whatever.
Oh yeah,
that's
for sure.
The point. But didn't make a difference to me. Like, I mean, like I re-downloaded on PlayStation, and I'm playing with Xbox guys on my on cross-platform. It's fantastic. So, but anyways, whatever. We're getting off topic.
This is good.
Let me grab this super chat here, gentlemen. And Nate, the $2 super chat says, what's in it for you? You want Wolverine, don't you? I don't know what he's referring to there, Nate.
Yeah. He's not understanding. He's like, what's in it for me? He's saying, don't you want Wolverine? Yeah, but I want Wolverine on my platform. I don't want to have to buy another box.
You don't want to have to. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying. I don't have to spend more money.
Let me get some context here, brother. So you're entirely on PC. That's it, right? Like, that's your only platform?
That's what I'm playing on right now. Correct. PC.
Okay, all right. Okay.
He's got a PlayStation in the house.
I do. I have 2 PlayStations in the house.
And his son has more platinum than he does.
What do you mean, what's the problem?
You got a PlayStation in the house. You can play Wolverine day one.
Yeah, I can, but this is what I'm looking at, right? Eventually, there's going to be another generation, right, of consoles.
Sure.
Okay. If once you go PC, you can stay on the PC forever.
Right.
I don't have to buy another box. I can upgrade a PC as I wish, but I don't have to buy a whole nother box, and I can have all my stuff you know what I mean? So I don't want to have to buy another box just to play one game. You know, the only game that to me I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to bite the bullet is gonna be Grand Theft Auto 6, because you know I gotta figure out which console I'm gonna play that on. I'm either gonna play it on my Xbox Series X or I'm gonna play it on my PS6. I mean, on my PS5. I'll figure it out. But
did you go to the future and come back?
No. Well, but you know why I did buy? I am going to build a $800 PC to rival the PS5 Pro. So I am going to do. I'm kidding, Logic. I'm kidding. Logic's gonna get mad. But no, seriously, for me, I just want to be able to buy everything on one box. To me, it never made sense why no one has ever been able to explain why exclusive games benefit me as a gamer. Except for Logic right there, it kind of was able to do it. As he explained how the game technically would be better since they don't have to worry about different, development. But I think Insomniac is talented enough to be able to do that. So,
well, the reward goes to the people who bought the box, right? When you talk about that value prop, what you're really talking about is I paid $500 for a box, right? Let's say I paid $500 for a PlayStation. Why is it good for me that they make it exclusive? It's good for me because that game increases the ROI that I get out of that box over its 7-year life cycle. Right. I'm getting games that are purpose built. And look, at the end of the day, I mean, this is the thing that I won't argue with people about, right? Because I work in the domain and in the space, is that code written, purpose built for specific hardware, specific platform, always has the potential and likelihood to be better than if it were built for multiple platforms, right? In multiple spaces. This is why we don't build missile systems written in Java. Right? Java is great for web applications, for businesses, for things that don't have tight control loops and don't need high fault tolerance, right? But when we code something that we expect to have a high degree of precision and a high degree of accuracy, we do that in different programming languages. And if we want to make them really good, we make them good for targeted hardware. Again, we also don't run missile systems on multiple operating systems.
Right. But
we build them for one thing, right? So the reward, the question you're asking, right? The reward is like, why is it good for me? Is it's good for me if I'm a person who's invested in that hardware because it improves on the return on that investment that I get out of that hardware. Yay, verily, it's not great for people who aren't on the platform. I get that, and I understand that, right? But part of the enticement is that, like, look, if you come in here and you spend $500 for this box, right, we are going to, based on I mean, you can kind of think about this, based on the dollars that you give us, we're going to take that money and we're going to invest on making stuff that's great for you. We're going to put money in, right? We're going to put skin in the game to make stuff that's best for you.
And that's where my ignorance comes in, because if you were to tell me the same argument during the PlayStation and Nintendo 64 era, then I would say, okay, obviously, because those two pieces of hardware are completely different. So if you're specifying a game for just one hardware, yes. But as I understand it, both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X are really not that much different. Both chips are made by AMD, like it's both. So that's why, to me, I when I tell you I really don't understand with it. Again, if we go back a few generations, then yes, I could see where you would make that argument. Like, no, they are different. Like, obviously, a game for the GameCube and a game for the PS3, like, obviously, completely different systems. So yes, making a game specifically for that makes sense. But when you're talking about the PS5 specifically and the Xbox Series X specifically, I don't understand. And again, part of my ignorance. But so that's why I trust that you're going to steer me right.
No, you're not, and you're not wrong. Right? Is the distance, right, of difference? Because I often talk about things in terms of software deltas, right? In terms of like measures of distance, is the distance closer? Absolutely. Yay, verily, it's not as difficult as it would have been then, right? You go back to Mortal Kombat, right? Mortal Kombat on the Nintendo and Mortal Kombat on the Sega. Both published by Acclaim, both written by two different studios.
Mm-hmm.
Because Acclaim felt that was the only way to get it done. They went out and they hired a set of experts that were experts at putting games on Sega, and they went out and hired a separate team that was experts at putting games on Nintendo. And there was no cross-pollination between those teams. They were two completely separate teams. Right. So yes, like we've progressed beyond that point. There are still some differences at essentially what I would call the firmware layer, or maybe the architectural layer, right?
Yeah.
But then you add the business piece to it, right? And what you say is that, look, our people who invested something in hardware, they're looking for some return on that. They're looking for things special to be made for them. I get, as a consumer on the outside of that ecosystem boundary, right? You don't necessarily see the sense in it, but the people inside the veil do. Why? Because that's part of how we consume. We have things like the Veblen effect. We have things where we like luxury products. We have things where there are people who like nice things.
Yeah.
And there are people, and I mean, and my perspective is that if Insomniac made a multi-platform game, right, I would expect a few things. I would expect that game to take, right, if they made a multi-platform game concurrently, if they did parallel development for multiple platforms, I would expect, right, from day zero to day whenever, that game would take longer, would be more expensive, require more level of effort, right, be a more complex project for them to execute. And then what does that do to me as a PlayStation gamer? I buy a piece of PlayStation hardware, I've got 7 years to get my bang for the buck. So any game taking any time longer than that, right, is negative in terms of what that measurement of ROI is. Now, at the end of the day, maybe that's good for a greater number of gamers, but then you got to jockey what that measurement is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You delivered you might come up with a formula that says I delivered less overall value to more people, right? And then what are the optics on that? So I mean, it's just a matter of there's different consumers and there's different customers, and what kind of business are you trying to run? If you're trying to run a business that is a software centric business, a service centric business, where you want to get your stuff as widely distributed as possible, there are things that you do then that make sense. If you are running a hardware centric business, a platform centric business, an ecosystem centric business, and you want people anchored to your digital storefront, like Mag said, then you probably do things a different way.
Okay.
And I mean, and I don't, and again, I'm not trying to like marginalize, right, or diminish kind of what your perspective is, but then what I would say from an economic perspective is like, yeah, there's a bunch of consumers that would prefer us to do that, right? Then there's a bunch of consumers who would prefer us to do this, right? Who's my priority today?
God damn, BRAP, don't invite me with logic no more. Makes too much sense.
Well, that's impossible
that's
because he's a panel member.
No, that's good logic.
Impossible.
I appreciate you taking time for that, Bill.
I do want to move on here. I was going to talk about
just right before you move, I do want to say, and Doc, I appreciate you like asking the question, like, and being willing to listen, right? Because a lot of people will ask the questions, they don't like the answers that they get back.
Yeah.
Right. So they attempt to dismiss them. So I appreciate it. And like I said, I'm trying to give value to both sides, right? I see both sides of the argument. But I'm just saying that whatever I would prefer kind of doesn't matter, right? It's what I'm thinking the market is looking for, and maybe what the businesses are trying to respond to, and they're all going to do it differently. So you're going to get different answers, right, depending on which business you ask that question.
Right.
That's a great point. I want to move on to the state of play, which happened today. Tokyo Game Show kicks off tomorrow. Xbox will have an event there as well. But the state of play was today. Was at 5 p.m. Eastern time, about 30 minutes. We got some gameplay reveals. We got more Marvel's Wolverine, by the Insomniac developed Marvel's Wolverine game, which is coming to PlayStation next year, fall of 2026. And let me hold on just a sec here. I want to play. Where the hell is this? I'll have to go back and find it. I thought I had the.
So, Brad, just right there on the delivery date. So, Wolverine fall of 2026, Saros spring of 2026, GTA 6 somewhere in the middle. Yeah. Are we thinking we're not getting Intergalactic till 2027?
Yeah, I mean that's a great question.
I think that they're not going to put because a lot of third-party stuff gets buffers up to PlayStation. I don't think you're going to get 2 first-party games in the fall.
They already said only doing 2 per year, didn't they?
I mean, there's no need, like they don't need to, like this, they don't have to rush it out there because if you look at what else comes out in the fall, traditionally, like for example, I was talking about this last night on Madcast, and I was saying, like, for example, in the fall, you can almost consider, as crazy as that sounds, you can almost consider that Call of Duty essentially is borderline and exclusive in a way, because even though it's available on Game Pass and millions of people play it there, 84% of the sales were on PlayStation. So they look at that as a game that they make tens of millions of dollars on just for getting that 30% cut alone. So you've got that. You've got You've got Wolverine, which I think is going to be a huge hit. There's no need. I think there's no need to do it. You push. I would push it out. I mean, assuming that it was even coming close to 26, I say you move it away from 26 and you move it to 27. There's no need for it. Also, do not forget, you've also got Fable from Xbox is also going to be on PlayStation as well. So I'm saying now I'm taking this from the Sony point of view that there really is no point to all this. And they've got what? How many games are there? They've got the marketing. They got marketing deal for Resident Evil Requiem. They've got the marketing deal for 007. You've got Soros literally 2 weeks later. I think there was another game sprinkled in the mix there somewhere in March. And then they've got marketing deal with GTA 6. And then you've got a couple of other games in there. You don't need it. You don't.
They literally got no pressure.
There's no need. Like that's good. That's a huge year for them, right? So then you take the summer off. They don't need to do anything in the summer because we all know statistically summer doesn't really, the sales are down in the summer. So you go down to the fall and you've got Wolverine and Call of Duty. That rounds out your whole year. You don't need to do anything else. And don't forget, Grand Theft Auto 6 is not just going to sell well for a week and stop. That is going to sell well and continue to sell well literally for years. So that is going to be a continuous source of income. And also do not forget, you're also slowly during the 2026, you're going to get a lot of people from the PS4 and Xbox One generation who are still playing on those consoles are going to migrate over to current gen consoles, which sucks for them because it's so expensive now. Who the hell knew that console prices would go up in 5 years instead of down, right? But anyways, they're going to start migrating over as well. They're going to start migrating over as well, right? So there's no need. So long story longer, Intergalactic 2027. I can't see them putting it there. It makes no logistical sense or financial sense. Yeah. Sorry. I hope I didn't just like hijack that, but
no, I that makes sense to me too. Like the way I see Sony is the pressure of making or dropping games over and over and over again is no longer there, and they are already the market leader. People are going to continue buying PlayStation. The PlayStation 6 is going to sell off its popularity just on the name PlayStation, so they're okay with just dropping one or two Sony quote unquote exclusive a year, and then everything else making sure that they get it. I think that
they have the mind share, right? And then not only do they have the mind share, you also have, like I said, the marketing deals where people, let's say not us, not the people in the chat tonight or us on the panel or anything else. You get the average Joe out there. When they look at a game and they see it marketed by PlayStation, immediately in their minds, especially if they're not involved or intricate, don't have intricate knowledge of what happens in this industry, or don't give a shit what happens in this industry, they're just there to buy a game once every couple of months or whatever. They'll look at those commercials, whatever, for PlayStation and show Resident Evil or whatever, right? Or 007. And they think that all in their minds, those games are now synonymous with that platform. So they will immediately go out and buy that platform. I remember when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. I remember walking in the mall. Remember those things, folks? The malls? So walking through the mall, and there was a huge sign that said exclusive, and it said Red Dead Redemption 2 or whatever. I had to go up there with my Sherlock Holmes microscope, like magnifying glass, and it said exclusive slacking hats. Right? Right? Like, and it said, and that's what you got. So when you bought the PlayStation version of the game on the PS4, you got like an exclusive pair of slacks and like a different cowboy hat or whatever, right? When you pre-ordered the game on PlayStation. But everybody else that walked by, what do they see?
Oh, exclusive.
What do they see? Right. Yeah. So now in a lot, and like I said, in the average consumer's mind, which it makes up about what, 80 to 85% of the actual people who are buying games. They're looking at that and they're saying, okay, well, Resident Evil, you've got that on lock. You got 007, you've got Soros, you got Grand Theft Auto. That's 4 games before the summer. And now you look at the second half of the summer, they don't have the marketing rights for Call of Duty, obviously, because Microsoft owns it, but they still get the majority of the sales there. And you got Wolverine, which they're going to put a massive push on. And they're going to get the backing of Disney, right? Because it's a Disney. Yeah. I mean, Marvel is owned by Disney. You're also going to be riding off the popularity of Doomsday coming out. This is going to be a monster game. I don't think people really understand how big that game is going to be. And then on top of that, you've also got Fable dropping somewhere in the mix, presumably in 26, even though I keep hearing it might get pushed to 27. But either way, let's just say, for argument's sake, it does come. You also have Forza Horizon 6 coming out, and if Forza Horizon 5 was any indication of how well it sold on PlayStation, I think Forza Horizon 6 will sell even more, because that was a 3-year-old or 4-year-old game that sold 3 million copies on the PlayStation.
Yeah, that's
Forza
insane.
Horizon 6 is also going to be a juggernaut. Different genres, I get it, but I expect to sell at least 5 to 6 million copies on PlayStation of Forza Horizon 6, and then of course, whatever the engagement's going to be on Xbox and PC. So it's going to be a monster year. There's no room for Intergalactic. I know that sounds stupid because Naughty Dog is also a juggernaut, but I think that you push it out because you got no room for that game. You want that game to breathe. You know what I mean? You want that game to breathe. You want to give it some space so that it has the spotlight for at least a month, right? And the way that I see 2026 shaping up, there's no room for it. And that would be a waste. Then you're going to have a Titanfall 2 situation.
Mm.
And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, what was everyone's thoughts on Wolverine? It answered one of my big questions when I saw the gameplay trailer or the gameplay reveal.
I actually have to. I didn't realize we were. You guys realize we were talking for 2 hours already?
No.
It's 11 o'clock. I realized. I told Brap earlier. I'm like, listen, Brap, I can't stay for the whole show because I got to make some calls before. And I look at the clock. I'm like, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I told Brap I only had an hour.
Yeah, well, it's already.
Well, it was a great conversation.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
But I do have to go. But I'm going to give you my thoughts about Wolverine. Brap, I'm going to read your mind here, buddy. Let me tell you that the question that you had or your concern was the blood.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then that's exactly I think where everybody else was sitting as well.
A lot of people, yeah.
Everybody
Insomniac addressed that too, by the way.
And you know what's funny? Wasn't that the opening line? Wasn't that the opening line? They said, "We know everybody was concerned about the violence or whatever."
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
I'm like, son of a gun. They knew it right away. They knew. See, man, these guys listen. They listen. So don't think that these companies don't listen, guys. They listen to us. And anyways, that being the case, they addressed that right away and they showed it right away. And boy, was that ever gory. I loved it. I mean, lopping off legs, stabbing through the face, ripping a dude's chest open with the claws. I was just like, okay, this is going to be something else. And we all know that, again, statistically, M-rated games still sell incredible. It's not like there's going to be any shortage of people buying that game. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, like one of the top selling games of all time is an M-rated game. Right. And then what about all the other ones? What wins the MPDs every single year? Call of Duty. They're all rated M.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's no danger of this game. Now, the only thing I could see is you're going to get some people with the pushback. Right. But, like parents or something are being like bitching. You're like, well, Marvel's a Disney property and this and that. Well, you know what? We just saw Deadpool and Wolverine last year. That's also a Disney property. And we saw how gory and brutal that movie was. Right.
Yeah.
So they had to do it. But it showed well. It looks incredible. I can't wait to play it. A lot of people are asking. I think some people in the chat were asking too. We're asking about open world or like corridor focused. I think it's going to play very similar to God of War, where it's going to be like a semi, you know what I mean? Like semi-open world sections. You go from section to section, and then you'll be able to wander around. I think that's what you're going to get. You're certainly not getting.
And I'm perfectly fine with that. I can't. I'm tired of open world. Everything doesn't have to be an open world.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be like one of those. It's going to be like a God of War style where you have sections you can wander around in and do stuff, or even like Last of Us, same thing. Like Last of Us wasn't a full open world, but when you got into certain sections, you were able to explore and do what you need to do. So I think you're going to get the same thing here, but you're not going to get a Spider-Man because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to do that. What's he going to do? Get into his Wolverine mobile and drive around? Like I don't see it. So, anyways, fantastic, dude. I gave Wolverine was a 10 out of 10 presentation today. Anyways, sorry, boys. I gotta bail. I gotta go do my thing. But that was a hell of a conversation, man. I had a good time today. That was great.
Yeah, that was good. That
was great.
Yeah, Logic, Doc,
great conversation.
You guys are awesome. Chad, you guys are awesome too, man. We love you guys. So yeah, it was
thanks a lot for being on, Mag. I was typically every time you come through, you're only able to be here when I'm late, and then you're only able to be here for an hour. So I only wound up being on with you for like 30 minutes at a time. So it was good having a chance to have a lengthier conversation with you.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. I really enjoyed myself tonight, guys. But anyways, yeah, you guys, enjoy the rest of the show. I'm going to catch it on the replay, but I got to make some calls before bed. So anyways, everybody stay magnificent. We'll talk to you guys all real soon. Brap, thank you for the invite, buddy. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Mac. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Soon. All
right. Sounds good.
All right, brother. Good night.
All right.
You want me to let you know what I think?
Yeah, go ahead, Doc. What did you think of Wolverine?
I'm not the biggest Wolverine fan ever, but it was cool. I guess it was all right. No, the game looked good. The only criticism I had is I wish the color palette was a little bit darker. Like I wish it was like it looked a little bit grittier. But besides that, no, the game looked fantastic. And Insomniac this generation has proven itself to me. Like they don't miss, man. They know how to make a fun, entertaining game, and I'm excited to play it when it comes to PC. So a lot of people, I told people on my stream earlier that for me it's not a day one buy, and people were like, what? But again, I'm not like a huge Wolverine fan, so I'm okay. I'll wait for it to drop on PC and go from there. So we'll see. So I liked it. It's just the color palette. Wish it was a little bit darker. That's about it.
What did you think about like Soros and some of the other games they showed at the State of Play?
So I really liked Soros, but I like third-person shooters as well. And Returnal is one of the games that I want to play. I have it on Steam. I just haven't played it yet. So no, I did like how Soros looks. So I liked Soros. I also liked Crimson Desert, I think is the other game was called, and then Flight Sim on PlayStation with VR support is probably one of the nastiest things I've seen Xbox do to its people. And then obviously Wolverine. So overall, I gave the show a solid 7. A solid 7. That's what I gave it. I can't go above 7 because then I lose my Xbox credibility, BRAP, and we're not gonna do that. You know
Oh my goodness. You got a point.
No, I'm kidding. It's not good. A solid 7. Yeah. Did you like the Wolverine thing?
Yeah, I'll get into that in a second. I want to get Logic's thoughts on Wolverine. Yeah. Logic, you know how I feel about Soros, but go ahead, give us your thoughts on the PlayStation State of Play and Wolverine and some of the other games.
So Wolverine, I'm split. Like I have the utmost faith in Insomniac. They're one of my top 5 favorite studios of all time. The only thing I was concerned about was like, how are they gonna like construct this game in terms of the world? And I don't think that entirely got answered today. I had some very meager, like I wasn't as wrapped around the axle about the blood. I just wanted to kind of see a bit of like what the game mechanics were going to be and like what were you going to do as Wolverine, because Wolverine is a very kind of narrow dimension individual as far as combat, right? It's not Spider-Man. It's definitely not Miles Morales, right? Where you have like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different things in the bag, right? On how you're going to approach a challenge. Wolverine's a killer and he goes at you with his claws. Like that's kind of it, right? And he's got some agility mixed in there, some strength mixed in there, but like nothing really bonga, right? As far as a wide palette of capabilities and superpowers goes. I'm like Doc from a comic book perspective, and this is where I get really torn. I've never been a huge Wolverine fan. I've actually been a bit of a Wolverine hater. I've never liked how big a character he became in the Marvel universe, because I felt like that's all entirely been built on him being a violent character and not really built on like his nuance and detail. His character development. So that's actually for me today. So today what I saw was fine. It tells me that it's got that Insomniac DNA, and I'm pretty certain it's going to be a great video game. From a comic book perspective, my worry is that I worry about what the story is going to be. Because here's my problem with Wolverine in the comic book universe. He is a character that lends himself, because he's so popular, he lends himself to being placed in these very ho-hum, like mundane, like 7 plots, right, of Wolverine. And those stories always get accolades because it's Wolverine, right? And there's, like, anybody who reads comic knows, there's tons and tons and tons of stories of Wolverine who goes to a nondescript town in Midwest USA, right, or Canada, and befriends a teen or young adult facing some problem, and in challenge with a gang or whatever, local crime, right, in their neighborhood, and has some other hangers-on that they're responsible for, and then Wolverine becomes their ace in the card deck, right? And there's a bunch of avoidance and chase scenes of like Wolverine trying to like, keep them undiscovered, and then facing off with like that story's been told 90 bajillion times over. Creative teams in comic books, I don't think have, and then there's a few like seminal tales, right? And that's what I couldn't get a sense of today. Is this going to kind of be like a seminal Wolverine tale? And so that's to me what remains to be seen. I don't think that impacts whether or not this is going to be a great video game or whether or not it's going to do well in the market. It's all a matter of like what me specifically, game logic would be looking for out of something like this. But I think mechanically the game's going to be great. I kind of agree. What I think the game's going to be from a world perspective, I agree. Like Wolverine doesn't have like a base, right? He doesn't have an apartment in Soho, right? So he's not going to be going right to his underground lair, right, and driving out of that. You know, from what I've seen in the game, I don't think you're going to see him going to, you know, Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, right, in upstate New York. This seems like, and again, I hate to say it, typical. This seems to be like the typical Wolverine story where he goes globetrotting around the world, right? He's in Canada. He maybe goes to some other parts of the world, and I think you know, every few levels you're going to globe hop to a different region, right? So you're going to be in Southeast Asia, you're going to be in Canada, you know, you're going to be in, you know, Russia. I don't know. And I think each of those are going to kind of be its own little like biodome. And you're going to do like 5 or 6 missions there. And then you're going to get on a plane, right, and go somewhere else because Wolverine doesn't fly. Right? And that was kind of a part of a question I had with this thing today too. I was like, what are they going to do about traversal? Because Spider-Man, obviously the big, huge hook of that is the traversal. Like people just go in there and just like web sling around New York. Yeah. And you can't really do that with Wolverine. So it's interesting they gave him the motorcycle, which in the comics it's just a means of travel, right? It's not like a shtick. Like Captain America like uses his motorcycle, right? In many of the stories and tales that have been told with him, it's like another weapon, right? And so I saw some action sequences that to me felt very kind of like Uncharted kind of like action sequences with him on the motorcycle. Yeah. And I think that's fine. I could be wrong. I don't expect the motorcycle to figure as largely in this game. Like it's not going to be like the Batmobile, right, in Arkham 3 or whatever. So I think they answered a little bit of the question on traversal, that it's going to be a thing to move him from one set piece to another. But I think most of the fight is going to be, you know, kind of area specific, maybe urban, but, you know, kind of corridor like, you know, hand to hand combat. So, but like I said, I think it'll be fun. So, you know, looking forward to seeing how it turns out.
Mm. Yeah, I thought, again, the question that many of us had was, is this going to be a visceral Wolverine game? And because it's like, how does it work without that? Like if without the violence, you talked about that in the comic books. And of course, you know, as Mag mentioned, Insomniac, that's like the first thing that they address. And it's very much that. I mean, there were some very, very violent scenes in that game. One where he puts his claws, I think, through I think it was one of the was it a Reaver, I think? Because they showed, so you saw Omega Red, the Reavers, we saw Sentinel there at the end, which leads to believe, Hamp, with the Sentinel there, there's some like there's probably some comic book tie with like the mutant you know, with
definitely fan service, like Omega Red, why do I want to call her Night Queen? Mystique. Then the Sentinel was huge. Yeah, huge fan service. Yeah.
Yeah, but the Sentinel was probably I don't know if many people recognize the Reavers or Omega Red, but definitely Mystique and the Sentinel being there at the end. I thought it was a big nod. We get big, you know, to fans, do a little fan service there.
We got to get Sabretooth. That's the big one.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I was thinking, are we going to see Sabretooth? Because to me that makes sense, you know, for the first Wolverine game, because I would imagine there's probably going to be a sequel to this, assuming it does well, which I think it will. But that's a great question, Logic. Like I'm thinking like there has to be Sabretooth I would be surprised if Sabretooth wasn't there. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I don't think we'll see, you know, I mean, maybe we see some of the other X-Men, maybe a Jean Grey, I don't know, or a Cyclops, maybe Professor Xavier makes a cameo, but at the very least, Sabretooth, just given the history there, right?
I mean, in this, correct me if I'm wrong, in the Spider-Man games, we see evidence of other superheroes, and we don't actually see. There are no cameos, right? Except for people who are like off the Spider-Man desk.
Yeah, I mean, we don't see any. I don't think we saw anyone.
I mean, he goes to Doctor Strange's. He either goes to. I can't remember if he goes in or just swings by Doctor Strange's like Miles goes by Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum, but that's where he meets like Black Cat in the vicinity. He doesn't actually go inside, and there's no Doctor Strange. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if they're going to move beyond that. It would be, with these things, I always feel like they need to. I always hate when kind of any show or movie or like acts like this is the only superhero in the universe. And again, with Wolverine, it would make absolutely no sense to approach it that way.
Right. That's true. Gotta have her other people in there. Gentlemen, I gotta start heading out as well. I just looked at the time as well, but this was freaking phenomenal. Definitely a great conversation. BRAP, you gotta invite me again, brother. I promise you, I'll try to make it. I promise you, I'll try to make it.
Absolutely.
I wasn't trying to duck you guys.
No, not at all. No. Well, Doc, no, it's always a pleasure having you on. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Definitely have to get you back on sooner than later.
Yeah, it was great to talk to you, Doc, and see you again. I'm gonna seek you out.
I appreciate you.
See if maybe we can talk some other places too.
All right, bet. Yeah, same here, man. I appreciate you guys, and thank you for taking the time to answer this question, Logic. I really appreciate it, and not just getting frustrated. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
Chad, I appreciate you guys, and yeah, what's up?
And for you and everyone else, I say this all the time in chat. Like, it's also not to say that like my response was the right answer, right? It's just it's one other data point, it's one other perspective, and then I always encourage people go listen to lots of other perspectives, and then make your own decision.
Facts. All right, gentlemen. You guys have a good night.
Yep, you too. Thank you, Doc. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think the only complaint that I had is I felt like the combat, at least the like Logan's movements, Wolverine's movements seemed a bit too robotic for me. In the trailer they showed, a bit stiff, I think, and robotic is probably the way I would describe it. Did you see that, Logic, or is that just a BRAP thing?
I think I don't know if it's just a BRAP thing, but I mean, I think this is kind of what we'll need to get our minds wrapped around, and we'll need to hear more from the developers for it. And I'll say that as one point also on this state of play is I've never been a fan of the trailer palooza. So I do really appreciate that PlayStation, you know, that the format that they use today and the format it seems they're going around to is they're playing a trailer, but then they're also it's kind of a mirror of that Ubisoft format, you know, in a non-live format. It's they play the trailer and then they give the creative team and the creative leads an opportunity to come out and like explain to you what they're trying to do, right? What is this game? You know, what is the vision? What am I trying to convey to you? Because I think that's hugely important. It's always been more important to me, in fact, than just the trailer. But I think one of the things we're going to have to get our mind wrapped around with Wolverine, and again, hear from the creative team, is so in terms of Wolverine's combat, in my mind, and different perspectives, in my mind, he shouldn't appear as fluid as Peter Parker or Miles Morales. And so I feel like that's what we saw today.
Yeah.
Right. It's not. To me, it wasn't that he was robotic and stiff. It was that, like, look, he's gonna be a little more deliberate and kind of stodgy and kind of like forceful in his styles of attacks than something of like the agility on steroids that a Spider-Man character is.
Yeah, that's a great point, Logic. I didn't even think about that. That his fighting, the way he fights is obviously not as, he's just not as fluid.
He's brutal
in combat as Spider-Man. He's just the brutality, right?
Yeah.
The brutality is probably gonna look a little stiff, right? When he's attacking an enemy, but I did see I did see there was some movement in the gameplay trailer that reminded me of Spider-Man a little bit, maybe in terms of like the what seemed to look like combos. If you remember, Spider-Man had those combo attacks. It seemed to.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, that a little bit. Yeah,
it was kind of a very Mortal Kombat kind of like fighting game kind of combo where like he multi-stabs the person there. I mean, and one of the things that fixes in my head this notion of he should, in my mind, he would be less fluid is one of the things I've always said, and this is something that I'm hoping we get to see actually. And I was actually saying it during the trailer. I kept hoping the Wendigo would pop up, which was a popular character that he would fight up in Canada. And that also caused me to think it would be great if we would see him cross paths with Alpha Flight.
I was about to say that Alpha Flight, yeah.
but on that tip too, what made me think about, well, he should be less fluid, is I've always said, one of my historical comic book takes is that he is less agile than Puck. Right. So again, Wolverine kind of moves not far down, but like he's down this rung of ladders of characters that in my mind,
I don't know. Do you feel do you think people, at least some of the listeners, that they'll get the Puck reference? I feel like Alpha.
No.
Yeah. Cause I feel like Alpha Flight's not very like, I don't see
that's very crazy. Yeah. That's very crazy corner of the comic book. That's a game logic knows that stuff. Like, and some other comic book readers will, but that's like, that's off the beaten path.
Yeah. I mean, there's Puck. There was, who were
Puck,
the other?
Snowbird, Sasquatch, Walter Langowski,
North Star,
Shaman, Talisman, and Vindicator / Guardian.
Yeah. Yeah. But I have full Ghostface kills. I remember Puck. I do have confidence though in Insomniac that this is probably going to be a good game. I think to your point about him traveling different parts of the world, I got to go back and look at because they had the like developer deep dive. Really wasn't deep dive; it was more like a 5-minute video with Insomniac about, and the voice actor, the actor who's playing Logan Wolverine in this game. And I do believe that they have to go back and look, and some of the live chat, if I'm not correct, I thought they did say that that Wolverine will be traveling to different parts of the world. They mentioned like different cities or different locations that he'll go to in the game. But yeah, I fall 2026. I think that's my only complaint logic is that it's not coming out sooner. I saw this. I'm like, I want to play this right now.
Yeah.
Now, I got to go to well, let me ask you, anything else on the out of the state of play that there
were a few notable things that kind of pop on my radar. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 being on PlayStation 5 is an interesting premise to me.
Captured a PS5 Pro, by the way. Did you see that?
What it was captured on PS5? I've been trying to find out if it's PS5 Pro enhanced. I assume that it is. It was super surprising to me that not only is it going there, but it has PSVR 2 support.
That was interesting.
Because that's level of effort. That's not zero, right, for an engineering team to pull off. So it was an engineering kind of a miracle to get this thing crunched down to work on Xbox. They probably have a little more performance overhead to make it work on PlayStation, so that's interesting. It'll be interesting from a peripheral support. I love my flight control systems and HOTAS. So it'll be interesting to see if Thrustmaster makes some PlayStation specific flight support peripherals. Turtle Beach. So I just thought it was interesting. Interesting enough, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 has not been received as well by the sim community as Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So it was interesting to me that they're actually taking the lesser version of the game and putting it on PlayStation. Admittedly, it has more like activity based content to it, more gamified content to it than being as much of a just straight up hardcore simulator like the 2021 was. But I just thought that was interesting for them to do it and to announce it at a state of play. Actually, what I really got jazzed up for today was the Battlefield 6 single player campaign. That
looked good, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there's lots of cutscenes, right? And little snippets of gameplay with cuts in between. I get it. But it made me kind of excited, right? For like those old days where like Battlefield had like a single player campaign, and when we had Battlefield Bad Company, this obviously kind of wasn't leaning in that comedic direction, but it looked interesting enough to make me feel like those old days of like I would buy, you'd buy Call of Duty just to play the single player campaign.
Yeah, no, exactly. I got it made me feel the same way too, and I was, and I really did, as no one should be surprised with this. I do appreciate a good cutscene, and there were a lot of cutscenes in that trailer. So
yeah, I especially like the profanity of the the woman.
It was profanity, yeah.
Yeah, she was like, that's not the fucking question or something like that.
Yeah, they dropped the F-bomb. Yeah,
I was a little. I'm.
Were you surprised by that though? Like that they didn't edit that in the state of play?
No, not entirely. Where I was torn was a little bit that she looks so similar to the I can't remember the Arabic woman character in the Call of Duty Modern Warfare campaigns.
Oh yeah. I remember she was in the Modern Warfare, the first reboot.
Modern Warfare, right? And she's been in. I think she's been in all three of the Modern Warfare ones.
Yeah, but she was like we were first introduced to her in the reboot or whatever it was of the first. Yeah. Yeah, she's and then I've seen the actress because the actress who does that role is very I mean, the in-game character looks very much like her. Yeah,
she's not sore on the eyes, but anyway,
no.
So yeah, I thought that was but I'm a little torn over. Well, I mean, is this is a lot of this kind of carbon copy of Modern Warfare? But we'll see. I was also jazzed up by the Deus Ex remaster, because clearly a lot of this is not like a texture do-over like the System Shock 2 remaster is. They clearly did like new models for some of this stuff, and it really looks like a heavier lift than just a reskinning. So I'm actually pretty excited about that. I've tried to go back and play like the OG Deus Ex a couple times and have not stuck with it that long. So this one I'm probably definitely going to take a look. I couldn't tell. It seemed like the way they were. It's Aspire doing it, and I know PlayStation has gone to Aspire to have them do stuff just for PlayStation. So I haven't tracked down whether or not this is a platform exclusive, or if it's just coming to PlayStation and PC. So yeah, I'll keep digging for that.
I was surprised to see a Deus Ex remaster, and I'm wondering if they're doing that to kind of gauge interest. I wonder if they're looking at this and say, okay, let's see how this does. Gauge it and just see if there's any interest in the franchise. Because
either for a new game or for remasters of the other games.
Yeah, I mean the last Deus Ex was on what, PlayStation 4?
Yeah, not Invisible War, but
it was Deus Ex because I remember I remember playing it, and
yeah, it was a great game. That was the one by Eidos Montreal, right?
Yep, that's it. When was the last Deus Ex? I don't know. I can't. Deus Ex. When's the last one? I can't find it right now.
Oh yeah, Human Revolution. Yep.
Yeah. So that's what I was. So I was wondering, Camp, like if is it Mankind Divided? No.
Oh, actually, that may have been Mankind Divided. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. It actually, I don't think that game, from what I recall, I don't think it sold well.
I don't remember. I just know it was way better than the second one. I thought the second one was like on 360, and it was just super. It was really hurt by the consolification of a game that had originally, like the original Deus Ex was like purpose built for PC, and then I think the second one. I thought the second one was Invisible War. I think, and it just got very consolified, and they just kind of lost their way from a design perspective in my mind. But then when Mankind Divided came around, I felt like they had figured that out.
Yeah,
and Mankind Divided was a really great immersive sound. Yeah,
it was good, and it was actually well received too. Critically, it was well received, 84% Metacritic, but I don't think it sold well. So that's why. So when I saw that, I was thinking, okay, I wonder if they're looking to maybe reboot the franchise, and to your point, maybe do maybe remakes of the Deus Ex games.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah, I thought that was it. That one I didn't see that coming. Like I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, and then all the others, I thought all the other stuff looked great. I don't think that those things are in my wheelhouse, and I think that they are kind of being very deliberate about like certain types of games that I'm gonna keep putting skin in the game on, and other ones that I'm just gonna I'm just acknowledging that I'm not that kind of gamer. But Neo 3, Code Vein 2, and actually one of the early ones, I think what the second one, Zero Parades for Zero Parades for Dead Spies, which I think this is a game done by the Disco Elysium team that is no longer the Disco Elysium team because of all the lawsuits and the sniping and all the tabloid stuff between, the original developers, the people who created or whatever has gone on with that team. I think this is the game too. Yeah. I think that's what, because the art style is hugely similar and it's too close to not to be them.
Yeah. That one looked interesting. Again, not something I would play, but definitely looked interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But then the things that really excited me, I'll say one that excited me and one that turned me off was the Pulse Elevate speakers. I thought was super interesting.
So those speakers, right? Like, and so when they revealed the speakers, it made me think, okay, we talk about PlayStation being very Apple-esque, right? Again, this is part of that ecosystem. Right?
Absolutely.
This is what they want to do. They want to this is what we talk about, brand identity. This is part of that. Here is a set of speakers, and they come in 2 different colors, by the way, which I thought was cool. I thought it was a good idea they actually did that, right? Because now you're giving people choice. They can either go with the white or the black speakers, but
it makes it ubiquitous across that product line, right? So now you look at that product line, and it's the Pulse Elite headsets, it's the Pulse Explorer earbuds, and the Portal, and they all come right in black or white.
Yeah, and did you see how they showed the they showed how it could connect to the PlayStation Portal? So you can actually use that as a
they use that PlayLink, like I said, that PlayLink proprietary wireless audio protocol.
Yeah. So for PC, for your TV, if you want to use your TV for your PlayStation Portal, and I'm like, this is not even like
I missed that. So Doc, I know Doc was trying to get that in, and I didn't let him say it, unfortunately. I missed that it was compatible with PC and Mac, and so I guess those dongles. Maybe I did see a few months ago that they had announced that that Pulse Elite dongle was now compatible on PC.
Yeah, they showed in the trailer there's like a USB that you plug in to connect it to your PC.
Yes, but it's still a proprietary wireless protocol, right? It has compatibility with others, but like it doesn't work with anything else, right? It's specifically for those PlayStation products. And it's not. The main point being, it's not standard Bluetooth, right? You're not gonna take these speakers and hook them up to your Android phone, or take them and just use your Bluetooth transceiver that comes in your laptop.
Yeah. But again, I mean, this made me think about the ecosystem, right? What they're trying to create. The fact that PlayStation or Sony is a hardware manufacturer. I think people forget that.
Oh man, they're rechargeable batteries. I missed that too.
Oh, I missed that too. Yeah. So I thought that was a cool announcement. Again. Not for me, not something I would buy, but again, for people that are really invested in the ecosystem, because we know there are people out there. We talked about this the other day about Nintendo, like people collect the amiibos. We talked about the Virtual Boy. People are going to go out and buy these speakers. People who are really heavily invested into the PlayStation ecosystem, just like we see with Apple, right? And Apple doing the same thing with their own hardware. Yeah. And
it's interesting. There's something going. I don't know what it is. There's something going on in the what do I want to call it, in the PlayStation and convergence of PC space, because there's just a few different moving pieces that I haven't put together yet. Right. So first of all, spending on PC hardware, including peripherals, is significantly up this year. Then, since I've returned to consoles, I've been looking for new monitors, right? Because I have a 43-inch 4K monitor that has a DisplayPort for my gaming PC that I have hooked up to it, but also has HDMI 2.1. They're not making monitors like this anymore. There were when I bought mine, there were a handful of vendors making them. Like Asus made one. Mm-hmm. Most of those models just aren't available anymore. When you look at a PC style monitor that has HDMI 2.1, now they're in the 32-inch size, and they tend to be OLEDs. And if you get anything outside of OLED, if you try and get IPS or VA, they're they're not as hard to find, but they are very difficult to nail down whether or not they have HDMI 2.1 and will therefore support all of the next gen console features. So it's actually to the point where I'm like, now I don't even want to be bothered, right? They're hooked up, like my Xbox and my Nintendo Switch 2 are hooked up into 32-inch monitors now that don't have HDMI 2.1. But I'm just like, but one of them supports VRR. The Xbox supports VRR, but the monitor doesn't support ALLM. The Nintendo Switch, it supports ALLM, but not VRR. And I don't even know if I don't think it supports VRR out of the dock anyway. So at any rate, what I'm like, I don't know if I'm paying $800 to $1,000 for an OLED 32-inch monitor for HDMI 2.1 when I don't know that I'm going to get that much out of it. But my point is that these speakers were clearly shown as part of a desktop setup, right? Where somebody's not sitting on a couch, somebody's sitting at a desk in a gaming chair, right, with a monitor, not like a big 55-inch TV. And actually, in most of these shots, it had a gaming PC next to it. So, and I know that's a thing for live streamers, but it's weird to me that the go to market with that is like presenting that as a primary use case. So there's something going on with like this rise of 32-inch OLED monitors with HDMI 2.1 ports and things like we're seeing here, and spending on PC peripherals being up that indicates something's going on in the market that I haven't quite nailed down yet.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, Logic. What I think that was interesting though, when they showed the speakers, they showed they clearly showed that it's compatible with PC. It made me think about something that you had brought up a long time ago about maybe at some point, maybe PlayStation creates a storefront, an application on PC to sell their games. And it made me think, like, is there more here? Is this more of PlayStation? Like, okay, maybe we're going to start investing a little bit on PC, creating, because, now the DualSense Edge you can use the DualSense Edge on PC. You have the speakers now, you have the monitors, the headsets now. We're starting to see Sony PlayStation branded things on PC now. So maybe think about whether or not this is kind of a move in that direction, Logic, where PlayStation is going to have more of a presence, and maybe a presence in the form of a storefront at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an idea. Yeah, there's certain elements of it that make sense, and Ubisoft does it, and Ubisoft has in fact doubled down on their storefront even more so. Like, they've come off the exclusivity deals that they used to make with oh wow, so the transceiver's USB-C too. They've doubled down on the on backing off of the exclusivity deals they used to make with the Epic Game Store. And now, well, I think and now they, and now they're selling that software. I mean, they've been doing it, but they've been more bullish on selling that software through their own storefront. And in fact, I think I bought AC Shadows directly from Ubisoft. So, there's sense to it. I just don't know. I just don't know exactly how they're tying it into like everything else that they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I want to finish playing before we wrap up here.
Oh, last thing I want to mention, and then the God of War controller was completely.
Yeah, that was a left field.
That's a hoopty. I think they're.
You didn't like it.
I think their last. I feel like their last God of War controller was actually better than this one. It just feels like. I hate to say it for place. It just felt like a very lazy attempt. Like they put a red, racing stripe on one half side. Like, it's not as good as the Death Stranding 2 controller, or the Spider-Man one. So it's just kind of weird. I mean, I saw it and I was like, oh, that looks like the red stripe on Kratos. It's probably God of War, but like I don't know why. And then they just announced it's like for the 20th anniversary. So I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to do anything special for the 20th anniversary. There is that rumor Metroidvania God of War type game. I wonder. I would imagine they're going to do something.
I thought that got canceled. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I heard it come up again. I could be, who knows?
Oh, no. That's right. It's not the Metroidvania. It was the one that was going to be a gas game based on God of War.
Oh yeah, that got canceled.
That Blue Point was working on. Okay. Who's working on the Metroidvania?
I don't know, but there's a rumor going around that there's a Metroidvania type God of War game, which would kind of make sense. Kind of incorporates the old God of War type games. I mean, those weren't really like Metroidvania per se, but I can see like that 2D side scrolling platformer, or 2D and a half. I think I think that game would probably translate well.
So
previous God of Wars, yeah.
They say Sony Santa Monica is still involved, but they may be outsourcing it to another studio.
Gotcha. Okay.
So where it's like, I can't remember who did.
It also
Galaxies did
Last of Us 2
and then Naughty Dog was involved, but like they outsourced it to Iron Galaxies or something. I don't know.
They also announced the Last of Us Part 2 launching in PlayStation Plus. That was also another announcement for Now, Hap, I gotta go to Soros here before I wrap up. Look, all I gotta say is bullet hell particle effects. I'm there day one.
So I see the screenshot you have up right now, and there I see the bullet hell, but like for most of that trailer, I was like, this seems like I had to pull the thread, and I'm like, is this even a roguelike anymore? It is. But I'm like, well, but it's a roguelike. It doesn't seem like with all the bullet hell stuff. So
yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's a fair point. Like I was expecting more bullet hell. I mean, it's there, but it's not. It's not as. And I'm sure there's more of it. Like I would imagine there's definitely more bullet hell in this game than what they showed.
What they showed today made me interested in it, and I was absolutely not going to play another Returnal-esque roguelite plus bullet hell.
It looks like Returnal 2 though, the sequel.
But if it's a Returnal minus, right, where it's roguelite elements without all the bullet hell stuff, usually roguelite is a turnoff for me, but as a shooter, I might still be interested in checking it out.
Did you play Returnal?
No.
Oh, Ham. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. I know, I hear that, combat, but I also hear that from the Souls-like crowd, right? Which tells me, yeah, don't fall for the head fake.
No, it is like for them to go from some of the 2D games that they were known for to Returnal was really just. I mean, it was just. I mean, like I don't know. I mean, I think it just speaks to the talent of the studio. I don't know how easy it is to go from designing a 2D to a 3D, right? And basically make like I don't know, like an indie type game, I guess, or to a full on, type AAA type experience where you're incorporating some of the elements from those 2D games, the bullet hell being one of them, and just building upon that and making this 3D, AAA experience in Returnal. And you see some of the bullet hell right here. I thought Returnal was great. The combat was smooth. It was fluid. You got a lot of bullet hell. This does though. And one criticism I did see online, this does look like a reskin almost. And I'm not saying that to speak badly of this game, because I'm excited for, I'm going to be playing it day one, but it does look like a sequel to Returnal. It looks very similar. Yeah.
I will say with a visual upgrade though. Like,
yes, with a visual upgrade and a male protagonist in this case.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't, and I think that's okay. Like, because Returnal didn't set off a revolution of samey across the industry.
No, it did not.
So I think there's room for it. Particularly
that's what makes your Housemarque games unique, though. To your point, it doesn't kick off like other developers making these types of games.
Yeah, particularly that, you're going to have a lot of people coming to this franchise who didn't play Returnal, because Returnal was a PlayStation 4 title that then was ported to PC.
No, it was a PlayStation 5 title.
Was it a launch?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there a PlayStation 4 version?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
It launched. It released on PS5 the April after the launch of the PS5.
Okay.
So April 2021.
Yeah. Look, if they're true to the thing of like, every time you get up, you're stronger, then I might have an interest in it. I might have an interest. Well, unfortunately, it won't become a PC day one. If when it makes its way on a PC, and I may even pull this up with a Returnal. Look, I don't normally play with mods, but I might actually, if there's a way to play it with mods, I might take a look at it. But for this one,
no damage mod.
For this one on PlayStation 5, I do see more of the bullet hell stuff now. It didn't feel as like in my face as I felt like the stuff that I'd seen in clips I've seen of Returnal. So there might be a small window for me to take a look at this. How long to beat was Returnal?
I don't remember. To be honest with you. I didn't finish it.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll look it up.
Yeah, I didn't finish it. I forget. I got to go back to it. And actually, you can actually play Returnal now in co-op mode. So I know some other people went back and played it that way.
It's 20 to 30 hours, so that's within my threshold. I'm backing off largely of games over 20 to 25 hours because I'm just like I'm not gonna. I know that I'm not gonna complete those, but 20 to 30 makes it. For Returnal was reasonable. We'll see what Soros says.
Yeah. So I thought all in all, I thought it was a good showing, state of play. Now Wolverine, Soros, that's what I wanted to see.
Now you actually exceeded yourself, sir, in going so far as, because I often admonish you about declaring game of the year for the year that we're in, but you went so far as declare Soros as game of the year for 2026, a year we're not even in yet.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I think at the moment you said that, I don't know that you knew the Wolverine date. So with Soros and Wolverine both coming out the same year, are you still sticking on Soros being the game of the year?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a good game. But I was just saying that just to be funny. Like I wasn't, because remember I told you as soon as I see Soros, I'm going to be hyping up the bullet hell, particle effects, the movement. Housemarque's got new studios, by the way. I don't know if you saw their new studio.
I did, which
offices,
which tells me one thing. Because one thing we need to keep in mind is like when you get a new studio, that means you moved. That move takes time. I've done it before. Like I've been at a development house where we were ensconced in like the larger headquarters building of the corporation, and then we got moved out to a new swanky office on our own. That takes time. Like we had to plan a week. Where employees were going to be transitioning, and so you weren't going to have like your regular meetings, and your production was going to slide and things like that. So those guys in the middle of doing this development, granted for a game that doesn't come out till next year, but they took some downtime, right, to move everybody over. So what that tells me is they probably went to a green light governance meeting where they were doing well. So everybody said, yeah, we don't have a problem with you taking a week off to move offices.
Yeah. And their offices are really, really nice. Like I was stunned when I saw the when they did the tour of the new Housemarque offices. And they have like anything and everything you would want, I guess, at a place of work. They have, they have movie theater, gym. Everything. So
what's also surprising though is while I say they apparently did well, it also begs the question of Totoki and all his, we're going to cut operational costs, right, and get more efficient and more lean. And I'm like, Totoki, this is not how you do lean.
No, that was a Jim Ryan approved move, probably.
The ghost of Jim Ryan is still cutting into PlayStation profit margins.
They probably did ask for an espresso machine when Totoki was there in office, and he probably said no.
Meanwhile, Bungie is getting their budget cut left and right and being reorged.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I thought it was a good show. I'm not going to give it a score because I don't give scores, but I thought it was a good show. I do miss, though, I will say this, I do miss the E3s. I miss the big, and a lot of PlayStation fans will often bring up, that one E3 where we saw God of War and everything else, and, Ghost of Tsushima. I do miss those big events and seeing those big blockbuster releases or reveals. I get we're at a different time, but I do miss that.
Yeah, I mean, my takeaway for this today is like, look, if you're on PlayStation 5, it seems like unless your palette is very, very narrow, I feel like you were shown like a bunch of things to be excited about to play,
I agree.
this year and next year.
Yeah, there was some variety for sure. There was definitely some variety. There were some things that I'm not interested in. I could see other people being interested, other consumers or gamers being interested in the types of games, but there were things that I saw that I want. So,
and hey, if you didn't see anything that you like today, like again, your platform is the biggest home to Roblox and Minecraft and Call of Duty. Actually, and there's 1,000 titles in PlayStation 5 and PlayStation Plus, more than there is on Game Pass. So you guys have plenty of bushelware, shovelware, geedunk to keep you busy if you didn't see anything you liked today.
This is true. This is true. All right. On that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. I want to give a shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thanks for hanging out with us this evening. Please do me a favor, hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Helps out the channel. If you're new, consider subscribing, hitting the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. Also want to give a big shout out to our guests this evening, Mag and Doc Dark. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. And big thank you to Game Logic as well. Logic, I don't know if you want to be found. I ask you this every week, but if you do, let everyone know they can find you. If not, it's okay.
Nope. You can just come here and see me every week.
All right. And that's Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So on that note, we are out. Tokyo Game Show starts here the next couple hours, actually. I know Microsoft has what time's their show start? Their show starts at 6 a.m. Eastern time. So in about 6 hours, Microsoft will go live. I do believe they're going to announce the price of the Xbox ROG Ally, and we'll start pre-orders tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. Is that what Mag said?
No, that's what I said.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it sort of kind of makes sense. From a timing perspective, it makes sense. To me, it doesn't make sense to make that announcement in Japan.
Well, I mean, Japan, though, they do play mostly on
they do,
devices.
But they don't. But I don't think a Windows device, right, is a big announcement in Japan.
Maybe not. Probably not. Yeah,
I could be wrong, but like
the Xbox Twitter account did tweet. I don't know if it was Phil Spencer. Somebody had in their hand the Xbox ROG Allies. They're walking through. I don't know, at Tokyo. So
yeah, I mean, because they had it at at Gamescom.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I mean, maybe they do. I mean, you're in hostile territory, right? You were literally visiting team, right, for the championship team for Nintendo. Not only is Nintendo selling Bonga and selling Bonga-ist in Japan, but PlayStation is getting award from their Minister of Trade, right, for all the business and GDP that they've generated for Japan. Like, I mean, go ahead. It's just a weird play to make to me.
Well, I mean, look, it's 2 weeks out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you that you got to do something. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, if you didn't announce it at Gamescom, you have to announce it. The next event with
just
eyes on it's going to be
just have Sarah Bond do an interview. I mean, just have her do another video.
Yeah, you could do that.
Look, I don't mind Sarah Bond doing a video.
My goodness. I mean, yeah. I mean, I won't complain, but yeah. So 6 a.m. Xbox show starts in 6 hours, and so yeah, Xbox ROG Ally pre-orders will go up tomorrow, and price point we'll know the prices tomorrow.
Yeah. March said 3 a.m. That's 3 a.m. Pacific time though. So
3 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah. 3 a.m. Pacific time, 6 a.m. Eastern time.
Yep, 6 a.m. Eastern. Neo 3 does a show at 7 a.m. Battlefield 6 single player live showcase is tomorrow at will actually be midnight on the East Coast. So it'll be midnight Friday morning, 9 p.m. Pacific time. So great time for Pacific people on the Pacific to watch it after Crossfire tomorrow night. Trying to see if there's anything else big. Octopath Traveler 0 has a presentation 12:30 on Friday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Friday. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD2D remake special stage event. It's on at a really bad time. 1:30 in the morning on Saturday on the East Coast. Borderlands 4 has a stage presentation on Saturday at 9:30 p.m. That's I'll put that link in the chat. That's over on Shack News. Has a pretty decent schedule up for that stuff. I myself will be looking forward to EA Football Club 26 coming out on Friday. So for all the soccer fans out there, I'm sure we'll all be getting our club set up and getting out on the pitch. So I don't know who will be watching all this TGS stuff.
Like how you said the pitch, and not like out in the soccer field.
I'm speaking. I'm starting to learn the sport enough to speak the lingo.
There you go. There you go. So, all right, Logic, always a pleasure, sir. And everyone, thank you again for watching the show, and enjoy the rest of the week. We'll catch you next week, next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. See you then. Thank you.